From the nation's capital, this is the Fly Fishing Consultant Podcast with your host, Rob Snowhite.
Thank you for downloading the Fly Fishing Consultant Podcast. This is Series 1, Episode 95, live from the Somerset Fly Fishing Show 2017, and I think Somerset, New Jersey. This is going to be a fun show. It's going to be long. I'm going to put the clean marking on it. If there is profanity, it's most likely from some jabroni in the background. A lot of people I did not get to talk to just because it's that crazy of an event. It'd be nice if maybe I just had a booth where people would just sit down and talk and we would get podcasts. But then I also like to tie flies and share those. Maybe next year we'll come up with something new. And if you know me, I'm more of the fly tying guy. I don't really go to the rod booths to see what's new. I don't really go to the reel booths, the lines I'm interested in, but I like poking around the fly tying materials and looking at feathers, talking to people, seeing what new creative things people are coming up with. Pat Cohen's got a bunch. I wanted to talk to him about his line of scissors, some of his new products, but that just didn't make it on the mic. A bunch of other people, I said earlier, just did not make it on, but I want to give some shout outs to the following people. So let's give a nice shout out to Alex from Healing Waters for helping me get a hat signed for the Pixies teacher. It's always good seeing Richard, Tamar, David, Julie, Kiki, Dan, Ira, everyone there. Big shout out to Aquaman Flies, Anthony Presky. He dyes some of the nicest looking Lady Amherst that you are going to find. His flies, I'm going to go upload those to social media today. Absolutely immaculate. These are steelhead flies that you don't want to fish. You want to display them. Big shout out to Jason for putting all of these files together. There's a lot of them. And I am going to get back to tying flies. I've got to start getting ready for the shad run, which will start shortly. Whatever shad flies don't sell at the Lancaster show, those are going straight into the guide box. So I hope to see some of you at Lancaster. Check out the new Snowhite Dragonfly there. And maybe I'll have something else I created. So that is it. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. I'm going to give it a clean marking. Any profanity would probably be from somebody in the background, not from all the classy people that I interview. I hope you enjoy this one. I'm sorry there's just a lot of people I didn't get to interview. But that's just how the show goes. Enjoy this one. Thanks to everybody for taking the time out of their day to talk to me. And I hope you check out some of their social media. Go to their websites, hire them, buy their flies, buy their products, etc. If you do, make sure you let them know you heard about them here. And I want to also let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Ayobayo USA. Biltong drawers and other traditional South African meats locally made here in Northern Virginia. Everybody at the show that got to sample them was highly impressed. And you can find those at your Whole Foods and some of your finer retailers here in the DC metro area. If you can't, give Vion a shout out. It's ayoba-yo.com. All right, folks, let's do this. Somerset 2017. Good afternoon. I'm on my way to the Somerset Fly Fishing Show in Somerset, New Jersey. It's a different route I'm taking this time. I figure I've done Route 1 to avoid tolls, and there are a lot of lights. I've taken 95, and there's been traffic. I've done the Jersey Turnpike and paid out the nose with tolls. So this time, I am going to go roundabout. I'm currently in Pennsylvania If you can't tell by the sounds of me going over the road, da-dump, 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 da-dump. And the sign actually said end state maintenance when it said welcome to Pennsylvania. Ga-dump, 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 ga-dump. I am going to drive up to Harrisburg and then hang a right on 78, pass through Jason Reeves' town. That's podcast producer Jason to you. We'll see if I have time to stop in. Then I should be in Jersey in no time. They actually said this was 22 minutes slower than if I had taken the eastern route. It's crazy windy out here today. There's garbage and leaves blowing all over the roads. I'm not a fan of holding the DAT with one hand and the wheel with the other. I should be using two hands on the wheel. It is quite blustery out here. And I am going to get there around 4 o'clock. I think setting up should be quite easy. I've narrowed my fly patterns down this year to intruders. Just one, pink and blue. Snallygaster worms, articulated and non-articulated. And those will have tails and skirts. Reapers, gutless frogs. I will be introducing my new dragonfly terrestrial, also known as the Zimmabug. I've got the Snowhite damsel. I've got the Cree bug. I'm going to do my bacon fly and a couple of worms. That should just round out what I'll be tying up there. There may be some more that I'm just not remembering right now. I've got everything down in 2 little storage bins in the back. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be splitting my table this year with somebody else. I'm fine if I do. I've gotten used to it over the last 2 years at Somerset. That allows me time to walk around and socialize and interview people. But if I have a spot to myself, I will somehow walk around during the quiet times. That's when Lefty's talking. Try and interview some people. Find out about what's coming out new this year, as I did not make it to ICAST last year. Now the plan is to drive down to ICAST this year, because I do like a good road trip, and we're going to see how long this car lasts. I do plan on eventually getting a new SUV soon. And I'm going to switch lanes because I got someone riding my behind here. I believe I will be tying next to Trad Little. You can follow him at Trad's Flies on Instagram, TRADDS. He's the prodigy dude that I've been interviewing for the last 4 or 5 years. We do like to indulge in a bit of adult beverages from time to time at these shows. So I went ahead yesterday and went over to Total Wine, and I picked up some local Virginia ginger ales, root beers, and orange cream sodas for Trad, so we can toast to tying flies. Hopefully he's allowed to drink soda. I don't know. My kid isn't. She only drinks lemonade. And maybe, yeah, that's about it. She drinks diluted lemonade. I don't know what Trad drinks. If he doesn't want them, I will gladly drink them. That orange cream soda looks good. While I'm up there, I am looking for a double-sided clip aluminum fly box. If I don't find one up there, I'm going to order one from the fly shop in California. I'm also looking for a curved dubbing needle. And the last thing I'm looking for up there is going to be a pair of size 13 wading boots. I get a client at least once a year that's got some ginormous feet, and they try to scrunch him into an 11 and it doesn't work. So I'm going to see if I can get some just super old wading boots. Now they can fit in my waders. You know, the neoprene booties expand a bit. But if you got built-in snowshoes, I got to get you some bigger shoes to put them in. Got a bunch of listeners that are going to stop by and purchase some flies. And I've got to wear my No Pebble Mine hat. I thought we were done with that crap, but new president wants to open up the world's largest open pit mine. Now, from reading some books lately, it appears that just the mine tailing alone would be 1,000 feet high, 1,000 feet wide, and I don't know, 30 miles long, and it would have to be monitored 24 hours a day for like 8,000 years to ensure no environmental degradation can happen in the Bristol Bay area. That would include one minor earthquake in 8,000 years would basically destroy all of Bristol Bay's fishery. Sounds like a great idea to me, President Trump. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's make a couple of jobs so we can destroy all of the fishing jobs and tourism jobs and everything else. So by the time you hear this, I should have a interview next week about the Pebble Mine from someone who's actually been there and testified to the Supreme Court about why it's such a bad idea. I'm trying to find some mints in my car. I didn't bring my normal junk food array. I've got some club soda, and that's it. My cooler's got some frozen tikka masala or butter chicken from Trader Joe's and some frozen mac and cheese. That'll be my dinner tonight. I'm staying at the Sonesta Suites. Don't have anybody yet for the spare room or the couch. Hopefully somebody can join me and split the cost. And I'm looking forward to the breakfast at Sonesta Suites. It's been a couple years since I've stayed there. So I'm looking forward to the show. I'm going to keep on driving, listen to podcasts. While I've been talking to you, I'm charging my phone. I don't have Bluetooth on this car, namely because when I bought it, it had a tape deck in it. I felt very proud of myself that I removed the tape deck and installed a CD player. So I can charge my phone when I'm not using it to play music, because I have the iPhone 7 now and you have to have the adapter because there's no headphone jack. And there's a car next to me from Tennessee. I wonder if they're going to the show. That's it for now. Stay tuned. I might have a sheet sandwich coming up later so we can discuss sandwiches. It's always a topic I like to discuss. All right. I'm going to kill the switch for now. That was a super easy drive. I've got 3 miles to go. Since I've spoken to you last, our commander-in-chief has cut funding to the EPA. So it looks like for fly tires, we might be able to get to use seal fur again. You know, we can start going and clubbing seals. Maybe we can go kill some polar bears, because the government doesn't care about them anymore. And how about bald eagle feathers? Yeah, let's use some bald eagle feathers to make some, I would really go for a nice bald eagle soft hackle about now. So I'm getting to the show. I'm going to go check into the hotel, and I'm going to go find out where I'm at the booth at the show, unpack my gear, set up, see if anybody else needs help setting up, and then we have the AFTA get-together this evening at 7 o'clock at the Marriott, so I will definitely be stopping in there for some hors d'oeuvres. Not too much handshaking. You got the norovirus going on around, at least in Northern Virginia area. So I will be avoiding handshaking this weekend as much as possible. I'm starting to recognize some of these buildings, so I know I'm in the area. I'm going to put you all down and get back to the last 2.9 miles of driving. That's it.
Not too bad.
All right, so first podcast today, we're at Fly Fish Food. Follow you guys on social media. Where are you guys based out of?
We're in Orem, Utah. That is about a half hour south of Salt Lake.
Okay. Just had Lance on the other day.
Cool.
You know Lance?
Did he smell funny?
It was over the airways. I don't know.
Oh.
Is he a smelly guy?
No. I was just asking to see if you'd say that. No, Lance,
we could start a rumor. I heard Lance has really bad BO.
No, Lance is a good buddy of ours, for sure.
Nice. So you guys are opening up a shop now.
Yeah, we have a shop that's been open since October, actually, right there in Orem. It's probably 90% fly tying materials. And then few rods and reels, no waders or apparel or anything like that.
We have nothing like that. Open up one in DC.
All right.
Honestly, like if I wanted to go out today in DC and buy olive marabou, probably couldn't do it.
Well, I blame it on the politicians.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got there's marabou literally just showed up.
Yeah.
So how'd you get the name Cheech?
So I speak Spanish. I went on a church mission to Argentina, and my brothers thought I sounded like Cheech when I'd speak Spanish. So everyone started calling me Cheech after that. And the funny thing is, like, I love reggae music. My nickname's Cheech. I haven't smoked an ounce of weed in my whole life. So that's usually the next question.
Oh, it's like I'm a fishing guide. I don't eat fish. So
right. Yeah.
There you go.
Funny.
So this is your first time at Somerset?
Yeah, absolutely. We typically do shows like in the West Coast, but we decided to try this one out this year. It's pretty cool.
How do you like the new loom tools? I see the scissors a lot.
Yeah.
On social media these days.
So one thing Loon has going for them is they have the mad scientist Matt Calise, who's their product manager or the product development manager, and he puts a lot of time and effort into the tools. And as ambassadors to Loon, we had a lot of input in how they were designed, what we thought would make a good tool, and they listen. So we've been very happy with them. If there's anything ever that we don't like, we tell them. They make the changes. They're always improving. But just one of the top-notch companies to work with in the fly fishing industry for sure.
Did they make this high-end tool holder?
Which
sponge?
Yeah, the sponge with the bobbins.
Yeah.
Or the bodkins. No, that's Curtis Fry Engineering that made that one.
Now, is that his real last name, or is that like a fish nickname?
No, that's his real last name. So his dad is a baker. His dad's last name's Fry, and his mom's maiden name is Bake. That's no joke.
It's called Shake and Bake.
Shake and Bake. Shake and Bake.
I mean, I can't comment on anybody's last names. I mean, it's just...
Right.
So it looks
Snowhite.
like, yeah, you guys are Regal fans?
Yeah, we tie a lot on the Regal. We also tie a lot on the Griffin Mongoose. That being said, lots of good vices on the market, but we're not on any specific pro staff with vices because we're kind of vice whores. We just tie on all of them.
What do you sell at the store?
We sell Regal, Griffin, Renzetti, HMH, Peak, Stonfo, all the good ones. So,
how big is the store?
It's not very big. If you walk in, I don't even know how many square feet it is, but it's not a huge store because we split our retail space in half. The back half is managed as the warehouse where we do all of our online stuff. The front half is the retail store. So if you walked in and saw the square footage, you'd think, wow, it's not very big, but we have over 5,000 different SKUs in the front.
Yeah, we definitely need a shop like that where we are. I heard there's one in the works, maybe this year. Keep my fingers crossed.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
What flies you tying up?
So I've been tying up sliders and low-fat minnows, so I'm the streamer guy usually.
Sliders? Are these Western patterns?
I guess, in the West we fish a lot of articulated streamers. I guess people can't see this. People on the radio, on the podcast, I am holding a slider in front of the microphone. So just try to feel its energy.
Listen to it?
Yeah. No, but it's just an idea. It started as an old saltwater pattern. Borsky put deer hair on a slider to kind of keep it upright, and I just morphed that into a trout fly, and it just happens to be probably our best selling fly and our most effective streamer on the river, even over the Cheech leech. So
the Cheech leech.
All right. That's some real business right there.
Nice.
And these are Curtis's stupid little chronomids.
Yeah, it looks like it'll
You don't
work.
have to look at those very much.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a crackle back here.
Yep.
Tying some tiny stuff. That's why I know you guys are from the West.
Yeah, absolutely. Tie a lot of really small stuff.
I'm tying on like 2-aught bass hooks right now. Well, I was. Not over there now. And what booth are you got? You're sharing the booth space?
Yeah, we're sharing the booth with Savory Creek Fishing. They're our buddies from Wyoming. We do a hosted trip with them every year. We call it like the mini version of Alaska because, the chances of you catching a 25-inch rainbow on a mouse or on a dry fly are very high. But we've been going there for about the past 3 years now. Awesome guys.
And one day were you guys just like, you know what, let's just open up, we need a fly shop.
What's that?
How did the whole, I want to open up a fly shop come about?
Yeah, so we kind of just started out because I was sick of sending an email out, like, here's how to tie a Cheech leech and writing a big email out. So we decided to do a YouTube channel. And Curtis and I have been friends for over 15 years. We've collaborated on a few things, but he was doing an article for the newspaper, and I was a Rainey's innovator, so people were asking a lot about our flies. And then it just kind of one thing led to another. We started a YouTube channel, started to get traction, realized that we were starting to create demand for the materials in our flies. And so I think our first hairline order was like $300, and we were freaking out because it was a lot of money for us. And now we spend, our hairline order every week is 10, 20 times that. So it's insane how it all started. And, I don't think we've heard it a lot. The best way to lose $100,000 is to start a fly shop. So we did it backwards. We started a business and then we opened the shop. So anyway, long answer, but that's what happened.
Do you guys do any Saturday morning talks, have people in?
Yeah, so the cool thing is even though we have a very small, limited space, all of our product is on rollers, so we can move everything out of the shop to the back. We have 2 big screen TVs there. We have all the AV equipment to have people come in and give seminars. Like we had Lance and Devin come in and talk about their modern nymphing DVD, and they did a time demo.
Febreze in there first?
Yeah, Lance was really just stinking it up. But luckily Devin's there, and Devin usually wears Obsession for Men everywhere.
Nice 1990.
Yeah. So that, or what's the other one?
Eternity.
Yeah. So Devin smells great.
That's what I used to wear in 8th grade.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm guessing reggae's on.
Reggae's on. Curtis listens to Pat Benatar a lot. No. Curtis is he's a classic rock lover, and I'm more of like the reggae guy. So, and then the guys in the shop, they listen to whatever they want.
I know what album you guys need to play. Have you heard of Dub Side of the Moon?
No.
It's a dub version of Dark Side of the Moon. It's awesome.
Okay, we'll do that for you next time we're in the shop.
Dub Side of the Moon. And there's also Reggae Covers the Dead. Those are some good albums.
All right.
Yeah.
We need to swap some emails here.
Yeah. All right. So he's doing all these little itty bitties.
Yeah.
You're doing the meat flies. That's just green thread on a hook.
Yeah, and trout are really stupid. No, that's actually peacock quill. No, that one is green thread. I don't know what Curtis is thinking here. Curtis is kind of a noob.
It's all that Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right. Oh, well, I'll let you guys keep tying. Where can we find you online and your social media sites?
Usually at all the sites, we're at Flyfish Food. Our website is www.flyfishfood.com, and our store site with over 8,000 different items is store.flyfishfood.com. And if you guys could follow and subscribe and do all that crap, the way I'll know you listen to this podcast is if you leave us comments that say, Cheech is cooler than Curtis. Right?
That works for me.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Does Curtis want to talk at all?
Yeah.
You want to say anything?
Everything Cheech said is a lie if it was regarding my name.
He really doesn't listen to Pat Benatar. He listens to the Bee Gees.
That's worse. If there's one album I don't have to ever listen to, I grew up having to hear that crap.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You're working at the bookstore. Right on. All right, we're going to go talk trash about Siobhan now. All right, it was good to finally meet you guys.
You too, man.
Glad you guys came out here.
Thanks, Rob.
Whoop, whoop.
It's amazing just how tired I am right now. It's been a long day. I'll catch you up to that in a moment. I definitely should have worn my compression socks for all this walking on concrete. So I get here yesterday, arrive fairly early, check in at the hotel first, come over to my room, drop off my luggage, and I asked if they had an ice machine. The guy's like, "No, I'll get you a bag of ice from the kitchen." So I was able to ice down the club sodas for trad, and the Coca-Colas, throw a couple of Anchors on top, and some Deschutes Brewing Company. Throw the cooler in the back of the car, head over to the venue. I park right at the fire exit in the back, walk right in, and 20 steps is my booth. I'm sharing it with 3 others, and no one's there yet. So I put my gear down and just walk around, get familiar with the place. I talk with Pat Cohen, look at some of his new stuff. He's got these little crayfish that in pink. He's got a chatterbait fly now, which is crazy light. It's light enough, you're saying you can't throw it with a spinning rod. That an 8-weight could throw it, but a spinning guy couldn't buy his stuff and throw it. It's just too light. Talk to Scott Stryker. He's got a clouser. That's the biggest clouser I've ever seen. It's the size of a tacky fly box. He's giving me some ideas about some bigger stuff we can throw from the boat during the shad run for the fish below the shad. Talked to Peter Vandergrift from Costa. We did the podcast months ago, but my software just didn't record it, so I never got you that Kick Plastic campaign discussion. Talked to a couple other people, just walk around, getting acquainted with where all the booths are. New booths this year. OPST is here. Sims has a full booth. A couple new rod companies, including Douglaston. River. God, I'm so tired right now. Douglas Outdoors. So I definitely talked to Dave McKenna. We're going to do another podcast like we did a couple months ago just to catch up on all the places he's been since he started this job. It's all over the entire U.S. It sounds pretty ideal. Come back to the hotel, check in to the room, unpack things, and catch up on the news, emails, social media. Head over to the hotel for the AFTA, American Fly Fishing Trade Association, cocktail reception, and it's open bar Yingling, but I'm tired, so I was willing to drink it. I think Yingling is nasty. It's like, it's up there with, I mean, I'll drink a Keystone Ice. That's what I brought up here to share with everybody. I'll drink that over Yingling. Usually, if there's no beer and somebody shows up and there's Yingling, I'll go back to the option of not having beer. So anyway, they've got hot food out. So we've got orecchiette pasta with cream sauce and peas, some kind of spicy penne, and they bust out a beef tenderloin roasted with gravy and dinner rolls, and then some kind of Vermont smoked turkey breast with another gravy. It was awesome. I punished all of it. I was hungry. Bump into people that I haven't seen in a while and have a long conversation with Joel from Vitavu, discussing all sorts of crazy culinary stuff, his culinary tattoos, his fly fishing tattoos. Dude's worked all over the place, and I'm going to have to get some recipes from him. Bump into Meredith McCord. Glad to see her up here. Think we're going to have to catch up with her again, too, with all the places she's been chasing world records. And then finally bump into Rebecca Red, who I haven't seen in like 3 or 4 years now. She's still shy to come on the podcast, but I got some of the craziest fly fishing stories I've ever heard from anybody. And these were just from her last trip to Tanzania. I mean, just like stuff you can't even make up. And I'm like, oh, please let me take out. I've got the dat in my pocket. And so maybe I could chase her down tomorrow and get a little talk out of her. But I still want to just get her whole story, which is pretty awesome, on a full podcast. I was learning about her fishery back home and We heard the whole discussion about lampricide in the Great Lakes area and the Tanzania fish and what hippos will do to you or crocodiles if they get a hold of you in Africa. That tigerfish shed their teeth like sharks and grow new ones. I had no idea. And she kept going on with stuff that she saw there. That was just beyond crazy. Around 10 o'clock, I'm done. I want to come back, go to sleep. And I'm sound asleep. I pass out. I'm tired. Got a full belly. Remember that spicy pasta? Yeah, I had some heartburn last night, so I did not sleep well. My buddy in college dated a girl that had bricks under, or books or something stacked up on the legs of the bed at the front, so she slept at like a 30-degree angle so she wouldn't get heartburn. I could totally have done that last night. Get up early, check my email, listen to the news, go to the hotel breakfast, hash browns, eggs. Totally could have used some hot sauce. Get to the venue early. I'm set up to tie first. Andy's going to tie at 1 p.m. on. So I get my coffee from the hotel. It's all hot. I'm walking up and down the aisles, chatting with everybody, discussing with Senyo how we're so scared of shaking hands and getting violently ill this weekend. I talked to one booth, and they were joking about just wearing like latex doctor's gloves while they shake hands this weekend because they're that afraid. I get to the booth about 8:40-ish. She'll open at 9 and start tying up the dragonflies. So you can look those up. Hashtag Snowhite Dragonfly on social media. Sold out of all of them today. I had to tie a bunch more. And I just start tying flies from 8:40-ish to 1. It started off with, what did I tie first? Dragonflies, and then I do a smaller one that looks like it, but it's more damsel fly size. I was doing Carolina and sky blue. I was doing all black, and I think only 2 colors. Didn't do any green, didn't do any red. And then I went to tying up my snallygaster with cheese with my isosceles triangle ultra suede tail that I color up with Sharpie for fabric, or stained by Sharpie, which are made for fabric, which don't bleed on this. It's one of the only fabric markers you don't have to treat or iron for it to set. So tying up those in pumpkin, chartreuse, and then Snakehead Fred comes by and orders a pile of worms and tree bugs. So I having just conversations with all these people from just all over the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast while I'm tying tree bugs. Definitely need to get that tutorial out. It's based on Mike Dokato's tree bug, but it's dumbed down because that dude is an amazing tyer. And mine don't look like his. Dumbed down version. And then I do a bunch of the jelly bracelet material San Juan worms. And then I've got to start tying more dragonflies for people as they're coming by. Before I know it, it's 1 o'clock. I've got to clean up. Peter Koga was tying next to me all morning doing some kind of spawning shrimp that people were going nuts over. One guy was like, why don't you have a video tutorial of that online? I was like, dude, why don't you just film them? Then you'll have the tutorial. You can put it up. So 1 o'clock, we switch out. Trad comes in, sets up. I start walking around, shopping, just looking at material, just talking to people. A lot of handshaking. Oddly, I come back to my booth, and who's walking in front of my station is Donald Trump Jr. See, he's got 2 guys with him. One's hanging back. There's like a 6'4" Secret Service dude in a suit, dressed business casual, totally stood out of the crowd. Everyone's wearing khakis and plaid in this place. So I handed my card. I don't like this family, but I just said, hey, just want to let you know There's some pretty awesome fishing right where your dad lives. Like, there's 2 blocks away is a stocked bass pond, and then there's the tidal basin. He's like, you can fish the tidal basin? I'm like, absolutely. And I take out the phone and show him some of the snakeheads and gar carp pictures, and I'm like, dude, yeah, seriously, you guys could fish right in the city. And then he walked on. His teeth were this oddly straight porcelain white. There's not a gap between, like, the dude can't floss, if that makes sense. He doesn't have to worry about, food getting, like, caught in there because there's no, like, gaps. Soft hands, probably uses some really nice moisturizer. And he moved on. Got a picture of him walking away. Just kind of cool. I know that they're big supporters. They come by the Healing Waters booth a lot. So I'll give it to them. They've been doing that for a couple years. Walk around, talk with Crosby, my old boss for Breck Outfitters, who's at Hardy and Hodgman. Oh my God, there's so many people I talked to. Long conversation with Mike from Fly Shack. Of course, it's his hooks I use 90% of the time. Mostly the 7031 size 4, which is all of my shad streamers and guide woolly buggers and Chernobyl ants. And I don't know the model number of the size 10 shrimp caddis hook. And that's what I use for my damsels, my worms, just pretty much everything else. So the person next door just slammed their door. Oddly enough, more towards my room than his this morning was a cleaned rib bone. Like, they were eating ribs outside last night and just decided to drop the rib bone from their barbecue, like, right there, which is kind of crass. So yeah, walking around, talking, hanging out at the Healing Waters booth, talking to Alex. It's Healing Waters TFO on the inside, so long talk with Alex. We got some stuff planned for Healing Waters and Shad this spring down in Fredericksburg. Hanging out with Dave Folkerts. Haven't seen him forever. Ira was just up 2 weeks ago. They stayed at our house for dinner. Meet up with Tamar and Richard from Healing Waters, which bizarrely they live like 5 houses down from my cousin, Josh. So now they're good friends. And then there's one of my daughter's teachers, Mr. C. He's a big fisherman. So I got a hat from Alex, and Lefty and Bob both signed it for Mr. C. So I think he's going to be pretty excited for that. And long talk with Trad's mom about parenting and kids watching TV these days, how our kids don't watch TV, and it's amazing how much stuff they market to kids, all that crap on like Nickelodeon these days. Talked about that. Trad's fishing. That kid just absolutely fascinates me. I gave him maybe 20 saddles and a full like gray chicken skin I had at home. I think, who else did I talk to? Talked to Bo. It looks like we're going to Montreal for spring break. So I think as of now, I'm going to miss the Virginia Fly Fishing and Wine Festival unless something happens. Maybe there's a big snowstorm, although we can't drive up there. For any reason that trip falls through, I will be at the Virginia Fly Fishing and Wine Festival. But I think as of this week, I'm not going. We'll have to see about that. And just lots of hanging out, talking. What other booths did I end up at? Talked to Umpqua for a long time. Trying to get them to pick up my flies, if you know what I'm saying. And then ended up back at the TFO booth and just hanging out with all the great people there. Bumped into Kiki. Bumped into Alice later on. Alice Owsley, I want to get her on at some point. We're going to talk Ohio fishing tomorrow. And they turned on the ugly lights and then dimmed the lights, and it was time to go. I came back here at 6:30. Going to catch up on the news. I've got 25 emails. Figuring out with the wife why our heat in their house is not on. I have the Ecobee, and I get an email. It's set to go off if the house drops below 62 degrees. So I got the email this morning. Our heat's broken. It's 57 back home. You can check that right now. When I FaceTime with the family, when I got back here, Dr. Jones was in this full-on fleece outfit. It's 57 back home right now. That's how crazy technology is. So I think they're going to go crash the ladies at my parents'. Oh, it went up to 58 just now. They're going to go crash with my parents out in Reston if it gets really cold. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be busy. Go meet up with the PFR lads. I think Trent, Scott, Thomas are coming up. I don't know who else is coming up tomorrow, but meet up with people. Try not to buy too much. Couldn't find an aluminum double clip fly box. Didn't find a good deal on size 13 wading boots, and I found a curved dubbing tool that's sharp on the end, but it's not like a curved bodkin, which is what I'm looking for. And I'm going to go make either the chicken tikka masala or some mac and cheese. Heck, I'm hungry enough to eat both right now after that day. Thanks to all the podcast listeners that came out. Hopefully some of you who are listening met me and learned about the podcast. And looking forward to Saturday at Somerset. Tomorrow's going to be a fun day. It's a big one. If you haven't been to the show, you need to make it up here at some point. So my appetite, to me, is more important than talking nonsense from all day. So that's it. Jason should be here tomorrow, too. I've got some biltong for him. He's going to be quite happy. All right, Saturday morning, we are with Kat Rowland. Where are you out of?
New York City.
Where in the city are you?
Chelsea.
Have you been to the market? It's amazing.
I shop there. It drives me nuts, all the tourists.
The hummus is Zahav.
Sorry?
Have you been to the Zahav for the hummus?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay, so easy drive for you to get here?
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes.
And what is your style of tying?
I tie salmon flies from the 1850s out of Francis, a book on angling. I'm tying through the book, all 6 editions. It's about 700 flies with all the variations. So I'm doing a project which I'll then create a couple of books out of eventually. But it's all patterns from the 1850s from the rivers in the UK. I tie them in the sizes that they fish them. All in hand, no vise.
That was my next question. Kind of, I want to say primitive tools, but just basic tying.
They're all antique tools. And one of the things I like about this time period is it was before they started tying flies for exhibition. So these flies were seriously for fishing. And they don't use a lot of really expensive materials, so it's all material that you can get out of your local fly shop for the most part. So whenever somebody says, I'm not going to tie salmon flies, it's too expensive to get into, I just say start with Francis, because you can tie hundreds of flies with readily available materials.
I see some guinea fowl, some wood duck.
Yeah, golden pheasant tail. Back then, they didn't use turkey because they didn't tie really big flies.
There were no turkeys in England.
Right, so they used what they had. They used goose and swan. And if you tie smaller sizes, you can get goose very easily. Just go through the rack and find the biggest that you can, and you can tie almost up to a 3/0 with goose.
What are some of the more exotic ones you have here in the bin?
Oh, there's a little bit of silver monkey, bittern, boar bristles, satyr tragopan.
Where do you come across those?
I buy mounts and then tear them apart if they're a little moth-eaten.
So if I ever come across like some mink or something, anything that's weird, send it to you, maybe? Your collection?
Yeah, because when I finish the salmon flies in the book, I'm going to go back and tie the trout flies. And those require lots of odd little bits.
Do you have any social media websites where we can follow you?
I don't. Personally, I need to set one up. So it'll be coming.
Fantastic. How's the show going so far?
Great. Yeah. It's, all the people are great. I come to the shows mostly for the people.
It's a good networking.
Yeah, definitely.
It's getting crowded now. It's Saturday, almost afternoon.
Yes, it is. It's starting to crowd up. Expected for Saturday.
Yeah. All
right. Well, we'll check back when you're finished tying these, and appreciate the time.
Yep. Thanks, Rob.
This podcast is fueled by Ayobayo, purveyors of locally made, well, at least for me, traditional South African meats, including biltong. Use promo code ROBSNOWHITE for 10% off your next order. You can reach Ayobayo at ayoba-yo.com, and the promo code is ROBSNOWHITE. All right, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Jack Mitchell with the Evening Hatch on the West Coast.
Whereabouts?
Out of Washington State, yep.
How's the show going so far?
You know, it's been fun. The East Coast is amazing. The people have been great, and we booked some trips, and we love steelheading and trout fishing, and that's what happens on the West Coast in Washington, so, yep.
And let's see what you got pictures back here. Some pretty big rainbows.
Yeah, rainbow trout on the Upper Columbia. I would call that world class. The Olympic Peninsula winter steelhead. We fish 7 rivers out there, and then our summer run steelhead programs on the Klickitat River.
Is there anybody who doesn't have that on their bucket list? I'd call them crazy.
You know, I've had a lot of interest in the Olympic Peninsula this show here, and everybody wants to catch a chromer. Yep.
So what kind of gear would someone need for going out there?
You know, we fish both ways with a 2-handed rod as well as with a nymph. Whatever you want to use, not a problem. We do provide all gear if needed, and we will fish either with the nymph or the swung fly with a 2-hander or single-hander, whatever you want to do.
We're using all your tactics now out here on the east. Intruders, thicker skagits.
Right.
We're adapting those for our... What do you think of our steelhead out here? Fish for.
I have never spent any time fishing for your steelhead, but hey, it's fishing. It's a good thing. I never put fishing down. I hope you guys are having a good time catching them. Yeah.
And you put a steelhead in different water, they don't know where they are. They don't know they're on the East Coast. They don't know they're in Lake Erie.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard you've had some great fishing out here. Some of the numbers I hear you guys catching nymphin is amazing.
Not mine recently.
Pardon me?
I'm on a drought for steelhead.
No, that's not good. You got to come to the West Coast.
November 2015 was the last time I hooked a steelhead.
Oh, no. Rob, come on out.
Yeah.
Come on out. We'll show you some steelhead.
Absolutely.
I don't want to tell you. Yesterday, I think they hooked 7 in one of our boats, 2 on the swing and 5 nymphin.
What boats are you drifting?
We have clacket crafts. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And we're fishing either on the Olympic Peninsula. We're fishing the Queets, the Quinault, the Hump Tulips, the Clearwater, and the Hoe. Yep.
Do they still brew Olympia?
No. Well, you know, that's a good question. I'm not a drinker, so I don't know.
Oh, you must feel so good in the morning. I mean, you see,
that's some good stuff, Rob.
Yeah,
that's
most
awesome.
of the people that I've interviewed or tried to interview so far, they're like, "Come back after I've had a Bloody Mary."
Yeah.
Everyone, I don't know what they were doing last night. We went to bed at 10.
Yeah, I went to bed at 9. You can tell I caught a cold. I should be standing away from you, Rob.
You don't have anything to stand on.
I know. Well, this was off the cuff. I wasn't even supposed to be at this show. I did Marlboro. They ended up having an extra booth, and I said, "What the heck?" I came on down.
This is your
first time on the East Coast.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Never been here. I never stepped outside of Washington. We do have 3 lodges there, so come visit us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Steve, I may have somebody to tie those. He's not here. Okay. He's in Kentucky. But
even better, because our guy who orders is in Kentucky, too.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll get in touch. Yeah. So Ray Jeff is looking for casting flies.
Oh.
Little yellow puffs.
Oh, yeah.
12
yarn.
Yeah, like 20 dozen. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. Especially tied to his specifications.
Custom tie?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
I do warm water. If you get down there, I do warm water urban. We fish in D.C.
Dude, you need
my business card will fool you.
Yeah, you need to come fish our warm water desert. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Have you seen Catch Magazine?
I know of it.
Yeah, check out Desert Drift.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, because, I just did a whole podcast on steelhead.
Yeah.
Is it steelhead? No, smallmouth.
Smallmouth.
And smallmouth, in my studies, were considered the worst introduced fish you could put anywhere, especially out west, because the salmon don't know them as a threat, so they eat all the salmon fry.
No, there is an issue. Sorry, go ahead.
It was pretty interesting that they coexist. The salmon don't know that they need to fear the voracious smallmouth, and they eat all the fry and the eggs up.
I mean, I love smallmouth fishing. I mean, I'd rather not have them in our anadromous rivers, no doubt about it. But there's some great stuff in the basins in Washington. central Washington basin that has some awesome smallmouth fishing, with topwater,
Nice. So what kind of food do you go eat after a good day of drifting and rowing?
The other day, when I was up, on the East Coast, if I'm on the East Coast, I want to go eat some chowder. I had some great chowder. Back home, we're eating a lot of fresh seafood. A lot of we dig up clams and have salmon often.
How about the gooey duck?
No, we don't.
That's supposed to be really good.
I personally have not had it, but now that you bring it up, maybe I should try it. Yeah.
I'm allergic to a lot of shellfish, but I think clams are okay for me.
Yeah. Scallops are awesome.
That's how I knew I was allergic to shellfish.
Yeah, you didn't like them, huh?
No, my throat closed up.
Yeah. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, it was tough. So these guys next to you, do you do work with them?
We have sold some of the OPST. There's so many different lines and so many, some of my favorite lines, Next Cast, I love them. I do like an OPST for a short head. I mean, you can't get any shorter than that, okay?
I just bought one for my 5-weight.
Yeah. Good. I mean, quite frankly,
roll cast 70 feet with that.
It's a beautiful thing, yeah. And quite frankly, nowadays when it comes to spey casting, it just makes things, or two-hand swing casting, it just makes it easier on the body.
Their dubbing tool is pretty nuts too.
Their spinning,
it just doesn't stop.
Oh, it's amazing. I would recommend that one. In fact, I bought another one just recently.
Fantastic. Where can we find you guys? Any of your own social media versus?
You can find us at www.theeveninghatch.com. Yep.
All right. Very cool. Well, Jack, thanks so much. I guess I'm going to, if you're sick, I'll bump elbows.
No, don't. Yeah, there you go. Dude, stand away.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Everybody here is going to come down with something.
It's crazy. I mean, I'm telling you, 18 hours ago, I was fine. I don't know what.
Hydration, too.
I've been pounding it.
If you need one of these, I got them.
Yeah.
Hot sodas?
Yeah.
I got some Cokes.
Pounded water. I mean, just pounding it. Yeah.
All right. Well, enjoy the East Coast.
Right on, Rob.
Yeah. Cheers.
Yeah.
All right. We are with Andrew. Where are you out of?
I am out of Montreal, Quebec, but I spend my summers up in Labrador guiding for the summer at Mackenzie River Lodge.
For you?
Yeah.
Sounds awful.
It's a pretty good job. I mean, the long story short, I couldn't afford to go up there, so I decided to get paid to be up there.
Yeah. So I noticed you, not only the ridiculous fish pictures, but we're both wearing no Pebble Mine hats.
I mean, we got to support it, especially being younger guys like us. Future, we have to respect the fishery down the line. And unfortunately, some new executive orders are coming along, and we have to get back in the fight for Pebble Mine. It's kind of ironic that we're fighting for a project that's literally half the continent away, but I mean, fishing is still fishing, and we got to protect these pristine places.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your fishery. How far north are you? I'm looking at these maps.
So we are actually our floatplane base is out of Wabush, Lab City.
Where would that be on this map? I know you guys can't see it. Here's the map for reference.
Basically, we are north. I can't recall the parallel. Hopefully, you're going to be able to cut this out. I'm trying to remember. This is the 49th parallel, almost at the 50th parallel. So we are way up there. Summer's about 2 weeks long, and the sunny days, if you blink, you'll miss them.
Really?
So fantastic fishery. We're at the head of the Smallwood Reservoir, one of the biggest, or the biggest actually, man-made lake in Canada. And that's kind of a treat for us because historically we were the only river with landlocked Atlantic salmon in our area. Their territory got a lot bigger, and now we're still the main river where they come back to. So we've been seeing an increase in numbers and an increase in size in the last couple of years for a landlocked fishery, which really sets us apart, I believe.
That brook trout back there is the size of my mini schnauzer.
Yeah, that's a big thing. People, definitely Labrador is the draw for the brook trout population. Historically, it's been always, it's their big spawning grounds. It's their native land, we should say. And they get big, they get mean.
So back where we're from in Virginia, a big brook trout might be 8-9 on a good day, inches, that is?
Yeah, 8-9 inches. Us, big brook trout, definitely 8-9 pounds.
That's insane.
Our area, we have to be honest about this. We don't have the biggest brookies. The guys down at Menippi, Eagle area, they've got the really big boys. But we've got some of the really best river fishing in the area. So our brookies are a bit slimmer. They're a bit more like little bulldogs. They have to get through the runs. They have to get up the rapids. They're not the fat ones that just go around swimming in the ponds.
Right. That thing is just long.
Oh, yeah.
It's got a gut on it.
Like our average brook trout up there is anywhere from 19 to 22 inches, and we're always hoping for the 26, 27 inch fish.
You get an award for that?
Well,
high five.
You definitely get a pat on the back from your guide if you manage to land it.
How often do you get a fish for fun?
I mean, we sneak out. We're a young guide crew. So our first week, obviously, we have to go around and explore the water, make sure everything is still fit after the winter.
It's like a chef tasting their product.
Yeah, it's the tasting course. 7 days of trying different species, new stuff. Our territory is huge, and we haven't fished most of it. So we still go out sometimes when we've got a spare guide and a bit of time. We'll try to drag canoes up in new ponds, new rivers, go check out some new creeks, and sometimes we find some pretty good fishing out there.
You got bears or anything up there to worry about?
We got bears. We just consider them really big raccoons. They're not as bad. The other operation is up in Ungava, so polar bears are a bit scarier than black bears.
You know, the lady who's going to be in charge of all the schools in America wants to have guns in schools to protect against grizzly bears.
That sounds like an interesting plan. I don't think it's going to work.
My daughter's school's got squirrels. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, pest control is a whole other ballgame when you're actually in urban cities.
So what would be the outfit if I'm coming up to fish with you? What kind of rod, reel, line do I need? Tippets?
We kind of dictate it around what we're doing. If we're casting streamers, those things really like to eat their meat. So we're casting, rabbit streamers that are about 3-4 inches long. Cone heads, get down there. So personally, I'm more comfortable with a 7-weight, but preferably I'd like to use some of the lighter rods, 5-weight, 6-weight, casting dry flies on the slower pool. Get a lot of fun out of it.
You got a particular hot fly, or those fish don't see flies too often, and you get away with some funny-looking stuff?
When guys come up, we always tell them, bring all the fly boxes you've got. We're going to pick and choose through them and sometimes toss something weird. Hot fly for me is definitely the master splinter mouse. Just we got to get him on top water, and that pattern just works out for us. It's a nice slim pattern. It's got a bit of a popper action to it, and we'll definitely move some fish with that. We'll see them move out of their way to get it, chase it up.
After a long day of fishing, what's the food situation like?
Food situation is really, really good. I got some buddies from Montreal that usually come up for the summer. They get out of the city, out of the craziness, and get to cook for a smaller group of guys. The beer situation is another story, though. It depends on the clients. Hopefully the guides get a couple of good IPAs out of it.
I'm headed up to Montreal. Any fishing going on there in April?
In April, not really. Montreal.
What's the weather going to be like?
April should be actually, fair. Maybe around 60 degrees. The snow's starting to melt out. The girls are starting to wear skirts. We're definitely trying to get some outside time after a long winter up there. Get some cold beer. Any
good dive bars or places I should go, like off the beaten path? That you don't mind telling the world right now?
Telling the world, I'm kind of like a fancy pants when I get in the restaurant industry because I worked with the guys a lot of time.
I want to go to Garde Manger, but you can't get kids in there.
Actually, Chuck is actually pretty good with the kids. I'd recommend Garde Manger. I'd recommend the other spot, La Salle à Manger, which is really good. It's up on Saint-Denis. And I do have to say a shout out to my buddy's restaurant, Hugon and Beaufort, out in the East Angus area.
Well, we might have to check that out.
Yes, please do. Please do.
There's the bagels.
There's the bagels.
And smoked meat.
Yeah, smoked meat. Yeah. The actual stuff, like not pastrami. You have to go and have smoked meat. Schwartz is still like the destination, I think, even if it's a bit touristy now. It's still, it's still an authentic kind of joint. There's a couple of them around there too that are well worth checking it out. Poutine too is all over the place, but some, a poutine you have to order like standard. You don't want to put sausages or meat or anything like that on it. Just French fries, sauce, and cheese curds.
God, I'm drooling right now.
It's delicious, man.
Can't wait for that. Where can we find you guys online? If you have your own personal site you want to reference besides this?
Yeah, sure. You can find us usually online with MackenzieRiverLodge.com. There's another one in Oregon, so we're the one in Labrador. Just to make sure, if you're looking for steelhead fishing, if you're looking at steelhead fishing pictures, you don't have the right one.
These fish are the size of steelhead. Is that a char, or what is that behind you? Is that a brook trout or like an Arctic char?
So that's that's definitely a brook trout, spawning male, basically.
What?
That one we caught 2 years back. He taped out at a solid 26 inches with about 19 inches of girth. So, absolute pig.
The mouth on that thing is nuts. I would use pliers to take a hook out.
We definitely get some bite marks on our hands after the end of the day. We carry some Band-Aids around.
Yeah.
Definitely mean fish, especially with the spawning colors. When we get into early August, the males are starting to get their bright robes. Backs become like jet black. They're beautiful fish.
That thing is ridiculous.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But our landlocked fishing too is really, I think, as a guy, that's what gets me, yipping and yelling on the river when we get the big landlocks up. We've had some that were pushing over 30 inches this year, so really some monster fish, and they fight like crazy.
For you. All right, dude. Well, Andrew, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Rob, for your time.
Absolutely. If you come out, I'm down there. So
Perfect. I'll come.
you need a cold one. I got cold ones.
Will do.
Right on, dude. All right. So we're at the front doors where it's nice and toasty right now. Where are we really at, though?
So, Competitive Angler is outside of Western PA. We're in Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
That's right. I heard that you guys yesterday.
Yeah.
Say that. And I was like, I've been mispronouncing that my entire life.
Town of Rolling Rock, formerly Arnold Palmer. It's a little town, suburb of Pittsburgh. We started this fly shop kind of on a whim. My biggest thing was about 3 years ago, a buddy of mine was like, hey, you know this stuff, and I want to get this stuff from other places around the world that we're ordering and stuff, and it was always, you couldn't find it, and it's mixed matches and stuff, and he's like, you're a gear junkie, and I've always been that way, and I guide, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna take a shot at it, and
She looks like she has a Star Trek gun.
that's our scanner. But we've started out with one item, and it was tungsten beads.
Tungsten beads.
And that was a year and a half ago. And we tried to take a different model. Our model was more like take pictures of everything, show everybody what you're actually getting. You're not getting a drop down bar of this. So. And we import probably 85% of our products. So our style is, bringing in the old with the new and doing a mix mash of both.
You got some birds up there that don't look like they're from around here.
No, we got some Cook Shield products from the UK, which is
Brook Shields?
Cook Shield.
Cook.
Yeah, Cook Shield, Honic, Dohiku, Hens, Soldierini. Sibai.
What is that craft fur down there? I've never seen anything like that.
That's some unique craft fur from Sibai. They have some really cool flashes and angel hair blends that nobody else seems to make in the States. It's still angel hair, but it just has some pretty cool, unique properties. And that's a lot of our products.
You're like a niche shop for.
We are. We really are. But we do sell streamlined 2488 TMCO, Daiachi, tacky fly boxes. We cater to everybody, but we like to have a niche for the guys wanting the extra stuff or the unique stuff, and we're always willing to try to get new stuff and take feedback from other consumers. So it's been very, very well. We've grown from, like I said, from beads to 500 SKUs in a year and a half, and it's mainly because of our loyal customers and what they're willing feedback to give us, and we've really grown from there, and it's been a great ride. So this is our first real big show, and
this is the big one.
This is the big one, yeah, and it's the one worth doing. And we got some more lined up for this year.
Benefit of the door, you get fresh air.
Yeah.
It smells like Vicks Vapor Rub out there.
Oh man, it's terrible out there. I think
Vicks.
yeah. Welcome to the fly industry. But I mean, yeah, it's a great thing. Are you familiar with any of our stuff?
Not too much. Ben came and found me. He's like, let's go talk about. Otherwise, I'm tying to the back. You are the opposite end of the earth from where I am inside there. So I probably wouldn't have come out here. Yeah, I mean,
Do you do the barbless, any Euro stuff or?
not really, but I want everything barbless. Not
Yeah,
so much
yeah.
for the fish, but it's $100 copay at the hospital for me. And as a fisherman, we're wearing technical, expensive gear. There's
Absolutely.
no reason I need to put a huge hole in some Gore-Tex or high-end fleece.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just beneficial all the way around.
They're
right?
sharper anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
they penetrate faster.
You're getting a better penetration. You're getting, like you said, you're not getting it in your clothes. You have to get forceps out, rip your shirt. And the price points are right around the same as you're going to pay for Daiwachi or Tiemco. And not to say that they're not great hooks, just, when you can get wider gaps and more efficient, longer points for the same price, I mean, it makes you a better angler and it gives the fish a better release.
Absolutely.
I mean, why wouldn't you? So educating the public on that is, a lot of old school guys don't want to change, and there's nothing wrong with that. I understand. The situations you can't get the hook like you want in barbless that you would get in a barb hook from Tiemco or any of the name brand companies, and sometimes you just have to be creative, pinch barbs. There's nothing wrong with pinch barbs, but the difference we have is the longer points on it.
You pull your hook out of your foam box, and there's a chunk of foam stuck to the barb, and it doesn't come off. And
Yeah. I mean,
barbs are a hassle.
They are, and it's not even just the hooks anymore. It's some of the uniquer, like some of the European stuff is just different, and it gives the guy that wants to flash up his regular pheasant tail that he's used to using, some UTC thread and wants to try some different ice dubbing that's a little softer. It's just so many varieties in fly fishing. That's why we all do it in fly tying. I think it's more about, creating something and using your imagination and just bringing all these unique, cool products and running with it, and there's nobody that says you can set and have to do this, and that's what makes us kind of unique and niche, like you said. And we plan on keep running with it, and it's been doing great.
You get a lot of foot traffic being right here?
We have. We've had it's not the best spot in the show. We've unfortunately, it was a last minute. They had a dropout, and we actually got to get in. So we took what we could take, and for our first show, we're doing quite well.
Pretty much everybody has to walk in front of this.
Either in front of this or on the way out,
Yeah.
and we usually get. It's been pretty steady yesterday and today, and hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, we couldn't ask for a better crowd so far, and it's been a great time so far.
Any hot items that we're picking up?
We have sold a ton of Perdigone tinsel. That is the new Hen's Perdigone and the body quills. They're cleaning us out, and the cook shield from the UK. We have guys come with handfuls and just bagging it, and so that's been our hot one. We also have a Honic fluorocarbon, which is similar in strength to Trout Hunter, and instead of getting a 50 millimeter, you're getting a 150 millimeter for $30 compared to $25 with Trout Hunter for one spool. So essentially, you're saving $50 when you're buying one compared to the other. But the name sometimes scares people because they're not sure of a foreign name, but it's good stuff. And a lot of this is the names, sometimes it takes getting used to.
But visually, first thing I notice, that's different. The craft fur, what is that spotted? It looks like a close-up of a pheasant tail. Like a
micro?
It looks like you took a pheasant tail and just zoomed in on it with spots and the browns. It's just cool looking.
It is.
That catches my eye over most things.
It's really unique. And are you a streamer guy yourself?
Tie a little bit of everything.
Like some of the flashes, they're just stuff that you don't see. Like that craft fur, I've never seen that before. And it's just wild, And I think, in my head, I'm thinking, some of the stuff that you could do with that, making some really wild streamers.
Yeah, I'm thinking just like flats patterns. Those light kind of sandy
absolutely.
browns in there.
Some of the shades of gray and stuff that you get in there, and you can make some awesome flies.
Is that camo leader?
That's the Camu. Yeah, Camu leader is very popular from hens.
Is that a play on camo because of the color?
Absolutely. It's
I'm not the brightest bulb.
No, you got it. We have two types. We have the Honic, the new one, and it's a little stiffer. It's a Czech Camu leader, which is essentially camo. And then you have the French Camu hens leader, which is, they come in different lengths. They have like 902 is like a 30-foot, and then we have like a 15-foot, and then they have like a 12-foot. And a lot of guys buy the 30-foot and cut it down and kind of do it to their specs.
So do you go to the European shows to find all this stuff?
I didn't. I have had guys...
You gotta make that an excuse to go over there.
I've been wanting to. I've had a lot of guys from Europe help me out and, ask questions. I've had a lot of guys, like my buddy here, Pat Weiss, who's on the Team USA World Team.
Nice.
He took 4th last year. And
we just had, he probably knows Lance Egan.
He does. He's on the same team.
Yeah. Does Lance really smell bad?
Depends on how long we've been in camp.
All right. So, yeah, we just had him on the other day. 2 days ago.
Lance is a great guy. Him and Devin, they're world-class guys.
Are all the competitive guys tall? You guys are all like the same size.
All but one, right?
Tall.
Tall and skinny.
Yeah, like George, Daniel. And then he walks into the casting pond.
Norm's, is he?
Just the good ones.
Good one.
But the rest of you guys are pretty heighty.
Do they only have one size blue blazer then? Like a 44 slim? There you go.
He's happy to get there, but
Honey Brown comes in cans now? Not that big jug?
It does.
I'd only seen it in that big jug.
It does. You're not supposed to have open containers, by the way.
That's what my snap koozies for. It wouldn't be Somerset without it.
Exactly. But guys like in the industry that...
It was Honey Brown iced tea.
It's good. You want one?
I'll pass. I'm doing the Keystones right now.
Guys like Pat and other guys like Sean Crock, buddies of mine, and have really showed me a lot. And in the competition scene, when I started doing it, and the acceptance of the camaraderie, and just seeing some of the cool stuff that was out there, and finding how hard it was to get it when I initially started, was like pulling teeth, searching the web. And this made me kind of on a trip from the South Holston one day. We were driving back, and we were always like, man, I wish I had this pattern, or I needed that. And well, I can get it, but it takes 3 weeks to get it, when you need it for the sulfur hatch next week. So what we ended up doing is my dad was kind of, and my buddy Brent, they kind of floated the idea, and that's all it came about.
So with your materials, if I was going to do it with South Holston, what would I use to tie one of their famous sulfurs? What would you pick out of here?
A lot of guys, when I'm guiding on the South Holston, which I do 9 months out of the year, I like to use...
So you're not up in...
I ain't. I actually have an apartment in Johnson City, Tennessee, and my parents are in Latrobe, and they run the shop when I'm gone.
Never gonna be able to pronounce that right. Latrobe.
My last name's even worse.
It can't be worse than mine. You can read mine from there, right? Yeah, that's for real.
Snowhite.
Yes. Been married 14 years now. My wife still won't take it.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm in trouble now because the thermostat's broken back home, and I'm up here. I'm not fixing it.
She's tough.
And she won't take the last name. I could make fun of her all day on here. She'll never hear it. This would be the last thing she would ever listen to.
I don't want to listen to a damn fly podcast. So what I do with sulfur, right? The Polish quills are really have taken off recently. They give a great segmentation for a fly body. With the Coke de Leon tail, medium Pardo or light ginger, and it's probably a Polish CDC or Trout Hunter CDC, like a Comparadun wing, and a little bit of Jack Mikovits microfine dub for a little bit of dub right behind the CDC to prop it up. And I like to use Benecki thread myself, or Danville, or it's really, I carry them all, but it's really personal opinion, you know.
How big is the shop?
The shop is about, what would be the shop size in dimensions? How big is the shop at home? It's not real big, but we got
This isn't big stuff you need to carry.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of 500 SKUs and 500 products. So we probably have different sizes. It'd probably be about more like 1,000 SKUs.
Are the baby wipes for Ben?
They are.
Gotta keep him fresh.
We can't take him anywhere.
All right, so near the shop, if someone's done fishing, where are they going for lunch? Up in Latrobe.
I would recommend Dino's Wings or Sharky's Cafe. You can't go wrong with either one.
What about down in the Holston after a day of rowing?
Down in the Holston. The Mad Greek is probably one of my favorites. The next one would be, I would have to say, the Quaker Steak and Lube in town in Bristol is really good. It's unique. It
don't have those where we are.
Has a fun crowd.
Good people watching?
Yeah.
Racetrack, they have that across that little bridge.
There's actually a little home-style cooking joint right in down in Holston there. What's the name of that? Hickory Tree. I got to give a shout out to them guys. They have great food and it's cheap, and you can get a heart attack really fast there.
There we go.
For under $5. So you can't go wrong. But it's, I'm there. The sulfur hatch is amazing. The blue wing olive hatch is amazing. The dry fly fishing can be tough at times, but to not have to go out west, it's one of the best places in the East Coast. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah. Were you at the Western North Carolina show at all?
No, I wasn't.
I did the one 2 years ago. So I heard a lot about the South Holston down there.
I guide for South Holston River Company.
Okay.
Which is Patrick Folkrod is a buddy of mine and the owner, and
he's not here this year.
He ain't.
He's been on several times.
You know Patty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know. It's the guy who's always up here.
Yeah,
I've had him on a bunch.
Yeah, he's a little midget-looking guy.
I used to work at the Orvis and Tyson's. We'd send groups down to the South Holston.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's real short, midgety looking, kind of messed up looking, but he's a good dude.
It happens.
Yeah, he's a good dude, and we stay pretty busy and looking for a great year here. Great show so far.
Yeah. Where can you find the Latrobe shop online? Any websites, social media?
We run Facebook. We run Instagram. We're launching a new site here in February. It's going to be more user friendly than it already is, and it is pretty user friendly. We're making it more so you can have a wish list, and save your credit card, and we're all verified. Make an account.
We did that at the cheese shop I worked at. You call it your cheese history.
It's just so much easier, and it's going to be nice. We're going to have the same photo lineup, but it's going to be, we won't have to lay out everything and cram them together because we're under a certain number. But it's www.com, or excuse me, www.com. It's competitiveangler.com.
How'd you get that wrong? We're looking right at it.
And if you need the info at Competitive Angler to ask any questions, it's info@competitiveangler.com.
And where can we find you down south?
And I am Jake at SouthHolstonRiverCompany.com and under South Holston Fly Shop, or South Holston River Company.
I bet there's a really good southern breakfast joint before you go fishing.
The Hickory Tree, the Hickory Tree store. Yep.
I'm so intrigued by this now.
It is good food and it's cheap.
Also, when I'm thinking about food, why doesn't the pizza place just have a truck selling pies off the truck?
I know.
This girl keeps going back and forth. That person would make some money.
We got their number.
There should be food trucks out there. Go get like a nice gyro.
That's
Yeah.
maybe I'll just quit give this up. And take a food truck.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for the time. We are pretty much out of batteries, so we'll cut it before it cuts us off.
Great. Thank you,
Yeah,
Rob,
absolutely.
and I appreciate it. And
Right on.
hope everybody has a good time this weekend.
Thank you.
Had tight lines.
Right on.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, now with 80 Maddox, it's been like 2 years since I cast in Florida. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Good. Are you painting at the show this year, or are you just hanging out?
No, I'm socializing.
That's a good
I
way
had
to
to
do it.
come see you and say hello.
Fantastic.
You and all my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's half of this is like me working, like the booth, but the other half is just talking, networking, catching up.
Well, that's because everybody knows you, Rob, and they all have to come say hello.
It's the last name that you can't forget.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk. If someone doesn't know you or follow you on social media, what is your niche in the fishing industry / community?
Well, I'm a fine artist, and I paint in oil on linen of trout, and I'm actually branching out a bit into some other fish, game fish, but usually instigated by a commission.
Okay.
So I'm pretty much in the water, but I also do, I've got an equestrian line going. But I've been painting for a really long time.
What's your favorite
How long?
fish? How long? No, this isn't the Johnny Carson show. You've only been painting for like 18 years because you're 29. We're all
Yeah, exactly. I'm forever 39. Yeah. I am 39, and yeah.
Do you have a favorite species to paint?
Brown trout. That just came right out of my mouth. God, I love
We
it.
can get some of your products on Vitavu.
Let's see, Vitavu. I'm with the Montana Fly Company, Stealth Craft Boats, Incognito. Patagonia sometimes runs some images of mine. Croquis, and God, I hope I didn't leave anybody out.
So that's a lot of companies. And you also, people may know you. Oh, we got another one.
American Dakota. I've got rugs now. Forgot about that.
That's pretty
Rugs
sweet.
And
We do a brown trout rug in our house.
yeah, I
We tie
have,
the room
I have
together?
a brown. There's a brown, a golden, a brook trout, and then a rainbow. And those are in Cabela's.
I should do brook trout because that's our Commonwealth fish of Virginia. You can't say state
yeah.
fish of Virginia. We're not a state.
Yeah.
Commonwealth.
Yeah.
So some probably be on a long day. Some listeners might know you from the bugs.
Oh gosh, the bug art. I did that
Yeah.
10 years ago, and that video that I made I was completely acting. It's definitely a show. But yeah, it's a good time to ride the motorcycle and kill insects and turn them into artwork and then sell them all. Little inventive. But yeah, that was a decade. This coming up on a decade ago.
That's the biggest fly. That's from the Tom Rosenbauer
Yow.
giant fly sale. Hold on.
Yeah.
Do you need to really walk around with that all?
That's gorgeous.
We have Matt Hart from 3-Ton. He's got the biggest nymph I've seen.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Holy shnikes.
Just scratching the surface, man. I'll go bigger, fatter.
I like that.
Did you make that? Yeah. Fantastic. You want to say hi? We're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Say
Well,
hi.
yeah.
3-Ton's been on before. If you want to talk about what you do.
Yeah, we're calling these the Forge Fly. And we're commemorating people's favorite patterns out of steel. So we go big, try to imitating the fly tying materials out of rigid metals. Some of them have 6 or 7 different metals from brass, copper, stainless, steel.
I thought that was bike chain at first, but it's like nuts and bolts and...
Yeah, so that's supposed to be the peacock curl and the dry flies with the hackles to get that metal to look fluffy.
What do you charge for one of these?
This one's $900. But I like to do the personal commissions with the story. And you got the,
That hook looks fishable, too, for sharks.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's been the running joke all day. It's been a good one.
You can make a gaff out of that.
Gaffs all day.
Yeah.
Gaffs all day. You mentioned Tom Rosenbauer? Because he saw these on a video, and he needs one. He will eventually get one.
All right.
Is this his podcast?
No, this is mine.
Oh, cool, man. Thanks.
You've been on it before.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll come by tomorrow and we'll get your whole story.
Cool. Yeah, I'm at 310. And this, we just scratched the surface, and everyone's reactions from here, and Orvis had me over in Manchester. How did you make this? We haven't seen this. Just, I'm curious to see what.
You must have a big arm underneath that shirt. So this thing is huge. It's on a rock.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
The arm of the shirt is on fire right now. Hold on, I'm ready to switch.
I
Here
tell
we
you,
go.
this man is built. Really
that's
built.
not true.
Yeah.
I figured I'd turn some heads though if I took a walk with it.
Absolutely. We have Trent.
What up, Trent?
It's amazing. Makes me want to go nymphing for sharks.
Yes. Yes.
You should do one of these and you could call it My Ex-Girlfriend and sell it. I think a lot of guys would buy it. That would be so funny.
Just did a post.
If you did copper, it would totally, like the greens in it,
the guys
way you
are
would
gonna buy it.
oxidize would be really cool.
Yeah.
Ex-girlfriend, you just nailed that.
I know, I might paint one that says my ex-boyfriend, but I don't know, my clientele's men, so I don't think I'm going to do one called my ex-girlfriend.
I mean, it's more or less an anchor. You could call it a wife. I mean, did I just say that?
Matt, I'm going to leave that to you. Do one that's got some nice legs and call it my ex-girlfriend and put it on a hook. There you go.
Nice legs.
Yeah.
Nice legs, that's all we need.
There you go.
Maybe see you tomorrow. I'll be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So where's home for you? It sounds like you got a Milwaukee accent.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Hot chicken?
That's just, I don't eat chicken. That's yard bird.
If you were going to get some hot chicken down there, where's a good place?
Gosh, Puckett's. Need to go to Puckett's.
How's the music scene?
I actually live in downtown Nashville. It's a massive music scene. It's incredible. Lots of artists everywhere.
So you were in a very cool location to do what you do.
I'm in the heart of Nashville, yeah. Downtown.
I've never been down there. We almost were going to go for spring break, but y'all know we're going to Montreal now. That's already been discussed in the podcast.
Oh, wow, Montreal.
Have to miss the Virginia Fly Fishing and Wine Festival. Going to Montreal.
That's so cool.
Trent's going to be at the Virginia show. Free koozies?
I'll be doing headstands and push-ups. Yes.
Trent's the Bethesda fishing manager for the Orvis Company.
Nice.
We go way back. You're VP of the Tidal Potomac Fly Rodders?
That's true, and I can also do over 7 push-ups, and I can do a headstand for over 2.5 seconds.
And one day we're going to get his fly fishing in Columbia story.
Wow.
He's knocked off one of my bucket lists. Or more.
Yeah, baby.
How about them Red Wings?
Third greatest team in the universe ever.
And the players go steelhead fishing. Did you know that?
No.
Datsu is a steelhead, like hardcore steelhead fisherman.
Pavel Datsuk, big time.
Yeah, Ovi's never called up. I know how to say that in Russian. I'm married into it.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. My father-in-law wanted to eat the carp I caught in Colorado that was bleeding from between its scales. I'm like, you can't do that.
That's a big time no-no.
Yeah. So let's go back to, those dogs are so sweet. So oil is your favorite medium on canvas, you said?
It's the only medium on canvas.
And how big, like when you do an original print, are they different sizes? And do you make your own like canvases? 'Cause our neighbor's an artist. We just got some custom work from her.
Sasha?
No, Sasha's 6. Oh, you're talking about Brienne.
Yeah, how's she doing?
Oh, they moved. I don't know. We live in a house. You've been to the house.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're out in the burbs.
It's like 4 years ago.
So our neighbor's an artist, and it took 6 inebriated adults one afternoon to hang the artwork. It was like one person couldn't do it, and then 2 people, it was crooked. And then a third person, too many cooks in the kitchen. A fourth person, before I knew it, there were 6 people hanging this piece of art in our house.
Was the art well hung?
Quite well hung.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the artwork?
Modern abstract? I'll show you. Our walls are just barren. I have all these trout prints, and I got this awesome one. I don't have any of yours yet.
Yeah.
But there was, I think it's like Mary Klatt sold these awesome watercolor trouts at Target about 18 years ago. And I got this rainbow trout, and I was just allowed to hang it up in the basement.
Nice.
But if I tell my wife, I'm like, yo, I got AD on the podcast. We need to hang up her artwork.
She's in.
She'd be like, heck yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they vary in size. Some are 22 by 28, mostly 18 by 24. I don't give anyone an option. It's a limited edition.
Okay.
So.
And what's the turnaround for a custom artwork?
What's
that?
Got your pass back?
Someone found it.
Yeah.
You got mine.
Yeah.
I lost my. I'm official now.
It ships within a week.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's like faster than me selling flies.
Yeah. Well, it's a reproduction. It's
Okay.
not an original.
Well, if someone wants an original, so you do the original, and then they can buy the prints from that.
Yeah. Yeah. When they're available.
Let's
Yeah.
say we have the internet thanks to Al Gore. Where could somebody find you to buy
If
these?
you have what with
The internet that Al Gore invented.
yeah.
So
Where
if we're on Instagram, how would we find you?
Well, I think that if you go to the internet and type in fly fishing art,
You're the number one.
I'm close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm up there. My rankings up at
Oh yeah.
1, 2.
My computer keeps trying to go back to Yahoo search, and I changed it. I'm like, no, we're a Google search engine now.
Yeah, Google. I just do Google. Yeah.
trying to take over.
Yeah.
Windows 10.
Yeah.
You're going under anyway.
No.
Yeah. So it's AD Maddox on Instagram. What about Facebook?
Yep. It's 80 Maddox Studios on Facebook. And then I think it's 80 Maddox on Twitter. If you go to my website, 80maddox.com, then you've got all my links there to link up on social media.
Fantastic.
And I post every day something.
Yeah. All right. It looks like it's happy hour, so let's scatter
Yeah.
like cockroaches when you turn on the light. Thanks,
Yeah.
AD.
Thanks.
All right. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
How are we doing this evening?
We're doing pretty good.
And
Yeah.
you all are not from New Jersey, obviously.
No, we're not at all. I'm with my friend Marie-Ève. And we are here in the Somerset Fly Show to have fun and meet new people.
And what company do you represent when you're here?
I represent, I'm an ambassador for Stage View in Reddington. So I'm here more, they didn't...
Socializing, networking.
Yeah, socializing,
Right.
exactly. I'm not in the booth, but I'm just walking around and, have fun.
Very cool. Y'all missed the oysters, by the way, up here tonight.
I heard that, actually.
Those oysters were
you
so
don't know
good.
how we would like to be there. Like,
Yeah. Hold on a second.
It'd be cool.
Quebec City.
Okay, there's no more left. So what are your fisheries back home?
Back home, if I'm just right in front of my house, I have bass. I can go for a walleye, pike.
You call walleye perch up there too?
Perch or pickerel?
Pickerel, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, pickerel. Actually, we call it doré because we are a French province, part of Canada. So we don't really use pickerel. It's mostly walleye.
I watch MasterChef Canada, and they're like, "Here's a pickerel," and they put out a walleye, and I'm like, "What?" So yeah, there's a.
How do you call it?
Walleye?
Okay.
Good.
They put them in our river in DC in the 70s.
Okay.
They're very rare where we live.
Yeah, but so right in Montreal, we fish for that. Or if I want to do a little bit of driving, I can go to, for example, the Adirondack Park. I know it's in the U.S., but it's a very pretty place where I can go for trout. And in Quebec, we have that particular fish, which is really well known. It's the Atlantic salmon. A lot of people come from all over the world to fish for those pretty fish and come in those wonderful rivers. Like gin clear water. It's totally beautiful.
I never get to fish clear water, so that sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's very pretty. Yeah. So we can go fish for Atlantic salmon, but it's quite a drive. From Montreal, it's at least 5 hours.
5 hours for Atlantic salmon sounds doable for me.
Sounds perfect. Like you can do that on the weekend, 2 days, and come back, and no problem. Yeah.
So what's your sage rod that you're going to throw for Atlantics? What outfit is your preference?
Yeah, I really like the Sage 1 9-weight. That's what I use for. Yeah, 9. I know.
But it's light because it's a Sage 1.
Yeah, but I choose that one because it helps me. Like I can do anything. Like if I'm fishing for bass and then I see a pike, well, I can manage to to catch a pike with a 9 weight. And I did that choice just because I knew I wanted to do some saltwater too. And when you have only one rod, which weight you're gonna use?
That's around DC.
Yeah.
You can do everything on a 9'5" weight, but then again, there are fish that are the size of me in the river. What happens if you accidentally hook one of those?
Well, the fish are all cold water fish.
Yep.
And are you using a 9'9"?
They were saltwater fish.
Okay. Now, what like flies would you use for Atlantics up there?
For Atlantics, we have specific fly for Atlantics. It's very Atlantic salmon flies. Like we fish with like blue charm, and we call the dry fly. We have the bomber, and it's very different things. Yeah.
So you caught Atlantics on top water.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Is that just an adrenaline rush?
Yeah, and it's tough. Like the toughest part is to set the hook, really, because they are very slow, and you have to wait until they go down and then set the hook.
They're gonna jump right away. I mean, that's their name.
Yeah, they do
jump. Fish.
You jump, and after that go deep, but you have to wait like at least 3 seconds before you set the hook. So
what kind of tippet would you use for those?
A lot of people use different things. Some people like to use only 9 feet of mono, but I really like the tapered leader. I think that's the best. So anything that finish around 15 pounds, that's good.
How big do they get?
Well, you have the grills. Je pense que, yeah, I think that's how you call it in English. Grill? No.
Grill?
A grill. Oh, yeah, that's a French word. That's a French word, but I don't know if you call that like this in English.
Does she have the translation?
Grill, well, whatever. It's like a small salmon. Okay, around like
jack.
No, no. It's like a salmon that went in the. Hey, c'est quoi un grill en anglais? Grills. Oh, I was right.
Grills.
Yeah, grills. Okay.
GRI. Rob, what's going on, dude? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
We met already. We had an interview together this afternoon.
So I've got my Montreal eating spots.
Yes.
We're getting together. We're going out for beer.
You want
we're getting together. You're added to your boots, so I didn't recognize you. He had a fantastic whiskey today.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That was.
You had the chance
It's
to
all
taste
gone
that.
now. I do have Opal.
Other stuff.
Oh, you got one of the bottles. I'm getting the little bottle.
I stole the whole bottle.
Yeah. I was going to take that one. Now I can use the little one.
This is now a tradition because we know it's
Hold this for a second. Hold that.
Okay.
I was going to take that one. I got permission from the Icelandic guys, but I'll take the little one.
It's
So
horrible,
who
right?
paid for all that alcohol?
I don't know.
It was Crosby.
So he's my old boss.
Okay.
I lived my car and worked for him like 12 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, a long
The
time
man
ago.
is a legend.
So I don't.
Huge respect for Crosby.
Yeah. I call him Coach.
Okay.
He's Coach or the boss.
Huge dude. You might have seen him.
He brought the oysters from. They were a mile away from his house.
So
Are there any more in there?
David Bishop was Crosby's best man at his daughter's wedding. It's like this huge dude.
Wow.
Kind of looks like Siggy Black, like blonde beard. You didn't recognize me. I was like scared he was gonna punch me in the face. You have a funny,
I didn't recognize you either, dude. What is that?
So this is Canadian Club 100% rye. Delicious.
Your little nib?
Yeah, you gotta have it. You gotta have it.
Fantastic.
Snowhite.
That's cool.
Still recording.
Get a van.
Still recording.
Oh, they know.
So you're gonna present that to Crosby?
Yeah.
Crosby's not gonna know about this.
Okay.
He was my boss a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
So how did you work? Sorry, the podcast is gonna get
They can
boring.
listen.
How the hell did you work under Crosby? I'm so curious.
So I was a high school teacher for a couple years until I found out that teaching wasn't about teaching. It was about just making the past American test.
Okay.
That they could learn biology after they graduated. My job was just to pass them along. So I'd always wanted to, I tried guiding in Alaska for years through high school and college. And then I put out like an ad, I want to guide out west for the summer.
Just do it.
I was newlywed, my wife's like, go out west and like have fun. I'll come visit you. Because her parents wanted to buy a place in Breckenridge. So I hooked up with Crosby online through the Fly Fisherman magazine website forum, and he hired me, and I drove from D.C. to Colorado, and lived in my car and was looking at places for my in-laws to live, and they came out the last week I was there after 2.5 months and bought a condo. Ski in, ski out, 2 blocks from the river. I don't ski, but the fishing's...
Dude, that is the way to do it. That's awesome.
So I've known Crosby now for,
I used to own it.
a long... Like I said, my business card, I had one chin back then. My job in that picture was to go to a pond that we charged like $400 a day to fish per person. But one of the ponds was drying up from the drought. So our job was to catch these 30-inch rainbows and move them in a refrigerated cooler tank in a truck up to the other ponds. And they're like, the owners were like, well, we'll give you some, we'll grill you some burgers and give you some Budweiser. And I'm like, you do not have to pay me to catch 30-inch rainbows. And I just tied a size 4 streamer hook, like 3 inches of black zonker strip and dumbbell eyes, and caught one of the biggest rainbows of all time on a 4-weight. And we put it in the cooler and moved it upstream. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We did that in Chile.
And then that night, I slept in my car because I was living in my car. The mountain lions came off the mountain and were trying to eat the horses on the ranch. So I had mountain lions running around my car at 10 o'clock at night, and it was a little scary. And my fly rods were outside against the car. Something ate all my fly lines. Like some animal, a rodent, came up and just ate all the plastic line off my reels. Like 5 reels.
Like squirrel?
I don't know. There's Crosby. So, social media, where can we find you online? Do you have an Instagram, Facebook?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. It's my name is FlyFishSab, and you can find me on Facebook. I have a SAB. Yeah, I have a Facebook page too. Sabrina Barnes Pêche à la mouche / fly fishing, and yeah.
Have you always been a fisherwoman?
Yeah, since I'm 2 years old, but I've fly fished since 8 years now.
Wow.
Yep.
Just like a family thing, growing up out there?
Well, yeah, for...
It's getting crap. There's some dirty words out there.
Yeah,
Producer
exactly.
Jason might have to take these out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and help my friend, I guess.
Yeah, she might need rescue. All right. Well, thank you so much for the time, and
thanks to you.
Hopefully your knees and feet hold out with all that walking in the show.
Thank you.
Cheers. All right, so it's 1:15 a.m. Sunday morning. I know I'm gonna feel terrible because I'm not gonna sleep tonight. I am leaving the DoubleTree Hotel, and I can't walk through the fly show building because that's locked, but I'm gonna have to walk all the way around all of it. So tonight was show ended, hung out in the lobby of the hotel, talked to a bunch of more people, continued talking to A.D. Maddox, talked to Kiki Galvin, some guys that work in West Virginia at some lodges, and then I was invited upstairs to a little gathering where we consumed, I don't know how many dozens of fresh oysters from Maine. There was a selection of Maine beers to pair with it, and the Icelandic guides, who I hope to get on tomorrow, if not an entire podcast in the future. They brought aquavit, which I'm actually used to drinking through my wife's work, working with the Nordics and Scandinavians. But there's this other drink they brought that, imagine you eat. All right, I'm going to go outside the fly fishing building now. I have to walk around the whole thing. And I'm tired because I've been on my feet now for, I don't know, a long time. It's weird. I'm out here the only one. And it actually snowed today. There were flurries when I went out to my car to get my cash box. So it has technically now snowed every show I've been here. So the last couple of interviews you heard were up in the room. May have been a little loud, but there were oysters from Maine that were absolutely ridiculous. The term, to compare them between what a Virginia oyster would be
And a main oyster would be Merrois, which would be the alternate of a terroir, which is how you can tell wines from one location to another based on climate, soil, etc. I've never had these briny oysters before. And if you're an Anthony Bourdain fan, his first culinary experience that enlightened him to everything was the first time he ate a fresh oyster off the coast of France. And these were the briniest, just most delicious. They didn't need lemon. They didn't need any mignonette. Crosby brought them. They're fantastic. In addition, I'm like a quarter mile in now. In addition to, and there's all sorts of crazy custom license plates like hex hatch, tight lines, double hull. Some nerds got Ferox 1. Who's that guy? So yeah, all these crazy beers to pair with them. Met people from all over the world. And I guess it's kind of part of just working with Crosby now for 10, 12 years. That you just kind of meet people through events like this. And you get to kind of, just go to events like that. It was pretty cool. Just meeting people from all over the world, discussing fishing, setting up podcasts in the future, setting up happy hour events in April in Canada, and really just trying to avoid drinking the green NyQuil tasting salty nastiness that is this stuff. And I asked the guys, it's nasty, but they gave me a bottle of it to take home. So I'm going to subject some of our home guests to this disgusting liquor when they come over. All right, I'm in my car. Woo, that was a long walk. I'm going to go back, make my last macaroni and cheese, and wake up in like 3 hours and go to breakfast. Oh my goodness. Today they had biscuits. I should say yesterday they had biscuits. So hopefully they have those tomorrow. I need a big coffee. I'm tying in the morning. I will put all this together for you on the drive home. Shush, FM radio, you're too loud.
I hope not. Hello.
All right, we have Zeb and Andrea. What's going on?
What's going on?
How's the show going?
It's awesome. I love it. Oh, come on now. It's fun. I just drag him along. He'd drag him along.
Feet hurt.
I know, mine are killing me too.
I skipped boots today and decided to go with the trainers.
There you go.
Yeah, those look more comfortable.
Yeah, these are. Both your bags look extremely heavy.
Well, that's because I have my coat in there because it's really cold outside.
You could have stashed it in my booth.
Oh, well, now you tell
next
me.
time.
After you said you're not going back to your booth?
Yeah, all my stuff is still over there.
No, I just use it as a bumper in case people get too close.
That works. Absolutely. So how's the Trout Club been this year?
The Trout Club has been awesome. I love it. I actually think next year the Yellow Creek Trout Club is going to have a booth here at Somerset, so anyone can come check it out and get more information on it, but it's been going really well this year.
I tied flies for her next time she fishes.
Thank you.
All right, so Snowhite baking flies, heavy weighted.
Oh, sweet.
The new dragonfly and some damsel nymphs. Try out there.
Thank you so much.
You need some flies to try too?
I'm good.
All right.
I barely fish.
I haven't caught a fish since August.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awful.
Worse than me.
I went fishing the day before I came here.
Nice.
Yeah, and I lost my phone.
Yeah, kind of got dropped in the water a bit, but that happens.
What's your social media for people that are just listening to this?
Social media?
Yeah, where can we find you?
Instagram at Andrea Larco or Facebook at Art by Andrea Larco.
And on Etsy?
Etsy is andrealarco.etsy.com. That's ETSY.
How are the Snowman custom rods coming?
Starting to do my own tapers. Starting to move off in other directions. More components, stuff like that. Still doing custom rods, but I think once I finish out this order book, I'm just going to build what I want and put up for sale.
You've been getting some more of those interesting reels that I've never seen anywhere.
Oh, yeah. I like reels.
I just had a chance at 3 Colton spools, but no reels. It's like, I gave them back. I don't need 3 spools.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
I picked her up a reel yesterday for Valentine's Day.
There you go.
And it was a reel I wouldn't have minded owning, so I didn't have any aversions to picking it up.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's an old Hardy from 1930,
Wow.
a perfect,
Pre-war Hardy.
with an agate line guard on it. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm
Looking
super
forward to seeing a
excited.
picture of that on Instagram.
Yeah, it's not in my bag.
And one more time, where do we find Jessica online?
At www.jessicacallahan.com or Instagram is Jessica Callahan Fly Fishing, and my page is just Jessica Callahan Fine Art at Facebook.
Very cool.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Jessica, because within the next year, you're going to say, man, I should have got some of her artwork when I could afford it.
You are too good to me.
Heck yeah.
Do you know what a podcast
is? All right, so who are we talking to these days?
Leaf Mermagen from Streamwalker Nets.
And you're out of Rochester?
Rochester, New York. Yeah, right up just center of Lake Ontario, right underneath it.
How'd you get into net building?
Actually, I just first and foremost wanted a net that I couldn't find that anybody built. So I started playing around, created my own, and went from there.
Tell us about the one you're holding.
This one is our Lake Run model, which is actually why I created the line. I wanted a solid steelhead net that I could walk and wade with. Something that was lightweight, durable, and just a form and function all together. And I'm always known how to work wood, and we went from there.
And you get the ghost bags?
Absolutely. We can do ghost bags, we can do black bags, we can do custom mesh if you want to keep them ultra lightweight. Some guys still like that. The ghost bags got a little more weight to them, but they're great. The ghost bags have been wonderful. No snagging hooks, no screwing around. And they're
how big of a fish can we put in there?
The net itself will hold easily a 13-pound fish. Once you get up beyond that, you're going to want to be real careful. We do make bigger, solid nets that'll, hold pretty much anything we have to worry about catching.
Awesome. Are you online? Any social media people can follow you?
Absolutely. You can catch me on Instagram, Facebook, all at Streamwalker Nets.
All right.
Right on.
And where'd the name come from, besides fishing on streams?
Walking in streams, that's it. Hunting around for a solid name, it sounded, I don't know.
Like Skywalker.
Good, smooth. There you go, right? We'll run with it. Sounded good to me, and I ran with it.
Very cool. All right, thanks for the talk. Well, thanks, Zeb, for introducing us.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Zeb.
This podcast is fueled by Ayobayo, purveyors of locally made, well, at least for me, traditional South African meats, including biltong. Use promo code ROBSNOWHITE for 10% off your next order. You can reach Ayobayo at ayoba-yo.com, and the promo code is ROBSNOWHITE. A radio show.
Oh.
Do you want to be interviewed also?
No, thank you.
Okay, so I'm with Santiago, and what booth are you with?
C17, we are with Nervous Waters Fly Fishing. We own 9 lodges in Argentina, Chile, and Bahamas. And we come all the way from Argentina to try to represent our brands.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so we are owners, no? That's an important part of the...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So being down there, are there fly shops and stuff to support your industry? Or do you guys have to order everything?
We normally need to deal with distributors among Argentina, and as we are also abroad in the Bahamas, that's like a different business unit where we can deal straight with the US, okay? But in Argentina, yes, normally it's between dealers, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's go with, how about Tierra del Fuego? What's the fishing like down there?
So the fishing, the main species that we specify are the giant Serum brown trout in Rio Grande, okay? That's private waters. It's about 60 miles of the Rio Grande, which is the river where the biggest Serums are caught in the world.
Wow.
Okay, and we fish fresh fish. The season starts on early January and goes all the way till early April. Although the runs, they start coming in mid-November, okay? And they go all the way till May, okay?
Wow.
Even in late season, you can catch fresh fish.
What's the rod setup you would use for those? I know it's big, open, windy water.
Yeah, so depending on the lodge, we have one lodge that it's on the proximity with the ocean that has wider and longer pools. And then we have another lodge that it's on the middle upper level of the Rio Grande where the river has more curves, so that's the middle and upper water is better suited for single 10-foot rods and smaller spey rods like 7 weights and 11.9 foot or 12.5 whatsoever. On the lower lodge that fishes longer pools and wider ones, we fish mostly spey rods and 200 rods, 13 foot, 13.5, 8 and 9 weights as well, yeah. Even 12.9 on a not windy day, I mean.
And would you use the same flies if you were going to go to Scotland or Iceland?
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could. Normally, we use the typical stuff. I mean, a lot of nymphing, a lot of swinging streamers. I mean, the techniques, they can vary a lot depending on the time of the day. Normally, we're fishing sinking lines or floating lines depending on the conditions of the river. During the last years, and probably taking into account the warming and the weather issues that the world is facing, the winters were not as good, so we are starting the season with low water conditions. So that means that we are fishing light.
You're an American, man. That's made up. It's not getting warmer. That's a myth.
It's not a myth at all, and we are facing it, and. So yeah, I mean, it's getting more and more challenging. That means that where we normally start fishing with heavier lines and the river has been wider whatsoever, we start the season with the river like this year that is a very, a different condition, and starting like the season with low water levels. That is basically where the river should be high, and it's the melting of all the snow that is coming from the Andes. So, but the fish are still running. I mean, there is a huge population of sea runs that is estimated in 70,000 more or less, the fish that are running, considering the University of Montana that has been doing a study there like 5 years ago, and we have been keeping that study with, our local government. So, I mean, it's huge fish, yeah. And in terms of the flies, I mean, we use a lot of articulated leeches. We use big nymphs, prince, beadhead, copper johns in huge, size numbers, colors, black, orange, chartreuse, anything works. I mean, and nymphing upstream is also a possibility, and we do that a lot, and we are starting to do that more and more, and it's a technique that has been, working a lot as well.
And then next up, we see Dorado. That's going to be the northern part of the country?
Yes. So Argentina, it's, the 6th largest country in the world. Oh. It's huge and long and wide as well. And we have all the weathers. So Patagonia is divided on southern and northern Patagonia. Normally on Patagonia, you can do the classical, rainbow and brown trout fishing on all Patagonia. Then if you go down south, you can fish for the sea runs at Tierra del Fuego, which is an island closest to the Antarctica. And then if you move up on the country, that's where we get the golden freshwater dorado. That is our native species that we have been fishing forever.
They're nuts, right? Like they're brutes with strength. The snap 10 weights.
For me, it's the strongest strike that I have fished with the peacock bass. The tucunaré. Yeah, those two are probably the strongest fish in terms of how they hit the fly. We do a lot of floating fishing, a lot of side casting. We are based at the Vera Marshland. It's the second biggest freshwater reservoir in the world after the Pantanal. So it's more than 3.5 million acres. Yeah, and it's a really pristine area. Lots of fish. It's a nursery. We have like a migration of fish. They spawn there. So it's pretty cool, yeah. Very cool. And then on the Paraná side, we also cater for the pacu and the pirapita that are our other native species. So they are very fun to catch. They take dry flies. The pacu, they take fruit patterns.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of side casting for those. It's very fun when you are wanting to take a break from the dorado.
And I'm guessing after a long day, big bold red wine, steaks, really hearty, good food.
For sure, yeah. I mean, in Argentina,
you don't eat beef when you come up here, do you? I hope you don't.
Not at all. I mean, mainly seafood and other stuff. But
so last week, a truck carrying red Skittles. Do you know the candy Skittles?
No. What is that?
It's like a chewy candy. And the
Okay.
red ones taste like cherry. For some reason, the factory couldn't use it. We're talking like a tanker truck full. It flipped over on the road, and there were red candies everywhere.
Okay.
They were headed to feed for cow food. The cows were going to eat the candy. Like, who does that? Just absolutely gross.
It is.
Talking
It is
about the
incredible.
difference between American beef and where you guys get eaten down south. Did you hear about the truck that flipped over with the red Skittles last week? And it was going to feed cow. Oh,
incredible.
Yeah.
Bone fishing.
Yep. I read all this stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then well, we also work like a pretty nice setting that it's close to Buenos Aires, that it's on the Paraná Delta. That
Easy
is
in, easy out.
easy and in, easy out.
What a flight from New York, how long would that take?
No, it's a 10-hour overnight flight.
Okay.
Yeah. All the flights, they leave normally between 7 and 11:30 p.m. in the U.S. normally, and they get in the morning early. So yeah, you arrive into Buenos Aires, that is our main hub, and from there you transfer via flights or via driving to the different spots in Argentina, different provinces.
Did you get to fish with Oliver?
Oh yeah.
How cool is that? They're fishy people.
We did a few trips with him.
That's awesome. And then you guys have bonefish. Where do you do your bonefish guiding?
So bone fishing, it's mainly Oliver's stuff, okay? But yeah, we own 2 lodges. We own one lodge in Great Tabaco Island on the Marls, and we own another lodge that is based out of South Andros.
Can you explain the Marls for somebody that doesn't know?
Oh,
I mean, I'm familiar a little bit, but it's just like a gigantic flat.
It's a huge flat that it's like a kind of labyrinth of mangroves and skinny water. I mean, it's all skinny. It's huge. It's full of fish. It's also like a kind of a nursery. I mean, there is a lot of spawning that is going on there as well. And I mean, it's a great location to catch bonefish.
Are you familiar with the current? They're changing the laws down there.
We are. I mean,
I keep reading about it, but I haven't gone in depth.
Yeah, there are some laws that are changing. Again, I mean, he would be the guy.
Right.
Yeah, Oliver would be the guy to talk about because he spends 6 months of the year there, so he knows everything about it. But yeah, they are changing a little bit. There is a new enforcement to have a fishing license for every customer and every owner of a boat there in the Bahamas. So we are dealing with it. It's $20 a week, I think, $70 for the year or $15 per day. Okay, and I mean, that's it basically. Yeah.
What's a good meal after bone fishing?
Oof, I
fritters.
I love conch fritters.
I ate a ton of oysters last night.
I would say also tuna beef. You know, that's also one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay.
Snapper, cuda, mahi-mahi.
How often do you get to go to all these different spots?
I travel probably 2 months a year.
Fantastic.
So at least it's 1 or 2 trips to the Bahamas, and the rest during our season that starts in November. It's counter season for you guys.
Right.
So that's when we start coming and going, and we do a little bit of everything. But yeah, I would say 2 months a year, yeah. And a lot of traveling that has not to do with fishing, like now. I mean, going to the shows and
your knees and ankles
there.
Holding up on this?
Oh.
You've got a nice spongy floor here. I've been enjoying our talk. That my feet feel much better.
True.
I'm going to enjoy my 4-hour drive home in the car. I'm just like, I'm sitting down. All right, where can we find you online? Website, social media?
So website is nervouswaters.com, okay, and then we have individual websites for each of our lodges. So abacolodge.com for the Bahamas, Bears Lodge, .com, and then we have Pira Lodge for Golden Freshwater Dorado, Villa Maria Lodge, and Cautapen. They all have their individual websites, but at nervouswaters.com you can find everything. Yeah.
Did you just say the P word?
Pira.
I thought you said P.
No.
No? I don't want to say that too loud. Kids listen. It sounded like you said a bad word. All right, and do you have your own social media accounts that people can follow?
Yes, it's Santi Seaver. Okay, so VER Seaver, double E. It's not as easy.
Right.
And that's Instagram. That's
okay.
what I'm normally using. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Would I bother Oliver? I asked him some question.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the new laws going down? You got a minute? No. I don't want to put you on the spot. All right.
I've caused enough trouble there.
All right. Everything's going good?
Everything's great.
All right.
Yeah.
What's your next article in Fly Fisherman?
You can't let those secrets out. I just had an incredible musky experience with the Blaine chocolate, so that's coming out pretty soon.
Yeah. He's blessed with the fishing he has.
He's dialed.
Virginia.
Yeah, he's got it going on.
Yeah.
He's definitely got it figured out.
Very cool. All right. Yeah, they should have you write longer. 'Cause they're fascinating articles.
Oh man, it's probably my fault because it's not my forte, man. It's a lot of work. So
Right. That's why I do this, because I don't have to worry about writing and grammar.
Yeah.
We can just talk and very cool. All right, how's your show going?
It's been a good turnout. This is always a pretty good show, good weather. So it's been productive, no doubt.
Very cool. All right, we'll keep it up. We got a whole 12-minute interview here, so
perfect.
Get you guys some web traffic.
Thanks. Cool.
Cheers. We're now at Fish Pond, which is always just something new and innovative. I'm assuming you guys won a bunch of awards at ICAST last year.
Got some. We got eco-friendly, so all of our fabric we're using recycled nylon fishing nets. Obviously, a really cool story, but more importantly, a bomb-proof fabric that is doing the right thing. So, a lot of our line, we got our new piece right here. It's kind of our Thunderhead submersible duffel. So, it has a 1680 really bomb-proof double-sided TPU fabric. We put a T-zip zipper on it, so fully submersible, fully airtight, molded bottom on it. Just kind of a great carry-on piece, but also doubles as an awesome boat bag whenever you get to wherever you're going. Rope handles, and just a great carry-on piece.
Jump off a boat and use that for flotation.
Yeah, no, you can use it. Don't quote me, but doubles as a life jacket, so life vest, and just got tested by Outside Magazine as the most bomber duffel ever tested, so pretty ringing endorsement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And should be a great piece. One of my favorite that I've been using for about 2 years with a prototype. So
it's always fun. You got to try this stuff out first.
Yeah, you gotta sample it and make sure it works and make sure it's functional and keep it up to spec. So
how are you doing down there?
First, say hi, holding down the fort there.
All right. So let's talk about the new bags. Like I said, it looks like what Indiana Jones would wear.
Yeah, so we've got a couple new kind of wax canvas pieces we added to our line. So kind of classic look with a little bit more of a technical feature. Put YKK Aqua Seal zippers on them, so they're kind of water resistant zippers. Super functional. Put kind of an FP, so that stands for Fish Pond, kind of a Western theme to them. But a couple new luggage pieces, a new tote, and just kind of a classic spin on a bag, but been really well received and doing well. So, yeah.
And let's talk about your Chacos.
Chacos.
So we're all fans of Chacos, but your Chacos, you can't get anywhere else.
You can't. So you can only get them through basically an authorized fish pond dealer. We worked hard with kind of doing a collaboration with Chaco. Basically, we wanted to improve their current sandal. Obviously, everyone's used to using Chacos. We also partnered up with Western Rivers. So we're giving $5 per pair sold back to Western Rivers, $2.50 per pair of flip-flops. Basically, we put on our own brown trout webbing. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but like the design a lot. And then we also used a Vibram Mega Grip sole. So basically, a really, really tacky. Chaco doesn't even sell that same sole on any of their sandals. Non-marking, really grippy sole. So basically, physically the best wading sandal out there. Standard retail, just like Chaco, $110 for the Z2s. $70 for the flips, but
the
awesome
flips,
addition and
the best flip flop out there.
Yeah, we all live in them, so yeah, it's a great addition to the line.
And then I got the Nick Wax sandal cleaner. It's like an inverted sponge.
Yeah.
Oh man, that makes them smell like daisies.
Need a little freshen up every once in a while. So
I mean, your rivers are a bit cleaner than what I'm going.
Yeah, a little biased. So.
I did go wet wading to these in Keystone and Breck.
Still holding up pretty good.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we've got a couple kind of new last year, but Thunderhead submersible sling. Still has T-zip, still with that 100% recycled fabric, bomb-proof everyday sling. Just launched our Castaway roll top boat bag / gear bag. Awesome piece. It was actually designed specifically to fit in the hull of a Hells Bay boat. Really nice thing is the interior liner pulls out, so if you're ever traveling destination, you pull the liner out, the whole thing packs flat in the bottom of your duffel, get to wherever you're going, pull it out, and you've got your gear bag. So roll top, fully submersible, don't have to worry about zippers corroding any of that stuff. So that's one of my favorite pieces this year. And yeah.
So you got the Oscar Blues bag.
Yeah, we did a little partnership with them. So made some Oscar Blues limited edition, I think 500 Ice Storm coolers, but came out really clean and great partnership and obviously a great company to work with. So yeah, a couple new coolers in wax canvas style and kind of trying to round out our line. So
nice. And always fishpondusa.com.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So yeah, keep it real. So
how's the skiing been?
Good. Lots of snow, so it should make for a great spring. A lot of runoff, but it should keep our rivers nice and healthy. And California's doing well, so it's good to see those guys.
Down.
So I'm looking forward to it. Been getting out quite a bit. So
awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much.
Of course. Yeah. Appreciate
always.
The time.
Cheers.
So cheers.
All right. Are we in Maine right now?
No, we're in Somerset, New Jersey, at the biggest fly fishing show on the East Coast. So,
who are these little ones here?
This is Molly, an English cocker, chocolate, and then we have Curly, Molly's daughter, which is a blonde English cocker, both grouse and woodcock dogs. Wow. Yeah, they're the main attraction for our bird hunting operation we do.
So let's talk about what do you guys do up there, Big?
Well, Weatherby's, we're an all, like you say, inclusive lodge. Fly fishing is kind of our specialty, but we also do bird hunting. We do offer spin fishing trips, but it's we're kind of known for our fly fishing, for the landlocked salmon and the smallmouth bass, which is world class. On the St. Croix River and all of these surrounding lakes, West Grand Lake, Big Lake, and Grand Lake Stream, Maine. So
these look like the traditional boats that were designed like a century plus ago.
That is correct. Yeah, these are the traditional Grand Laker canoes. They are all handmade in the town. Each guide has their own. They usually hand make their own the way they want to. They're their own specifications. Probably 5 to 7 different models running out there. Some of the Sprague canoe is one of the main ones they have, kind of the originator of it. But yeah, that's what the guides, they pride themselves on being traditional fishing guides, as they would have been 100 years ago. Same tactics, same rivers, same streams, everything. Yep.
What's a good outfit for if someone's coming up there?
Well, in fly fishing, usually if you're fishing for salmon, you're looking at your 5 and 6 weight streamers and nymph rigs, traditional dry flies as well, especially early spring. If you're doing the bass, I recommend
smelt flies.
Yeah, usually you're basically your traditional Maine streamers. Your
Stevens.
Exactly, Gray Ghost, Warden's Regret, all Badger, Great Ghost, the Grand Lake stream has its own basically fly itself. That's kind of what a lot of people use.
We have a podcaster in D.C., Sarah Frazier. She's from the Rangeley.
I know the name. Yes, absolutely. I never met her before, but I'd like to fish with her up there. Yeah, can you make that happen?
She's in D.C. now.
She can fly.
Yeah, she's up there all the time. Okay.
Good. I'd like to talk to her. Yeah, I'd love to get her up there. But then we do the smallmouth season. That kind of kicks in about mid-June. They start spawning. And
they're smallmouth. They're pretty tiny. They're like this big, right?
No.
They're not Potomac average small.
No. I'm gonna keep it clean here. But it is. I left my fiance for the smallmouth bass in Maine.
Wow.
That's how big they are. Sorry.
I know steelheading can do that. I didn't know smallmouth.
Well, maybe I'm just a dumb guy from Texas, but they really are that big. Yeah, and they're throwing huge poppers starting in June and ripping them off the bank, and they just get exploded on.
I always thought you had a Roanoke accent.
Texas.
Yeah.
Most people don't understand it because it's so godlike. It's probably hard to understand.
How about those Dillon Panthers?
Don't know anything about it.
Texas forever?
Nope.
Never seen Friday Night Lights?
I have, but I don't support football. They're a bunch of crybabies. Yeah, I like soccer. South American soccer.
Right on.
That is a true sport right there. Bloodbaths, absolutely, and rugby. It's pretty legit too.
Rugby players are on a different level.
Yeah, I like all things men, not weird. I like all man activity sports, I guess.
So are you guys eating lobster 3 meals a day?
No, well, every Friday we do a huge traditional lobster boil. We go along the coast to Eastport or Lebec area, pick up however many pounds of lobster we need per guest, and we boil them over open fires, and we have that with corn and all the other fixings. Pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I made the mistake my first time up there and ordered the lobsters for the dinner that night, and the lady said, "How big do I want them?" I was like, "Well, the biggest you have." Obviously, being from Texas. So I come back with about 5-pound lobsters. I think it was like 40 of them or something. The bill was like $280.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, those things, they don't have an end life. I mean, lobsters will live for indefinitely.
They pretty much do, yeah. They go forever, and they get massive. Like I said, I ordered or bought 4 to 5 pound lobsters. That's insane. Normally people eat the pound and a half, so 4 times that size. So, but yeah, man, the fishing is absolutely incredible. I've guided on the New River in Virginia. I thought it was the best thing, and then I fished the St. Croix for about 2 days and quickly realized that if you're consistently catching 16 to 18 inch smallmouth, I say consistent, I mean every 5 casts you're catching a smallmouth, and it's 16, 18 inches, you start to rethink the management practices. Yep. And your kicker fish up in Maine is going to be around 23, 24 inches. Yeah, it's impressive. It really is.
My goodness.
Yeah. And I run jet boats up and down the St. Croix River. We do the traditional canoes. We fish lakes. I think within a 50-mile radius where we're at, we probably have about 100 different watersheds we can fish. Yeah, so everything changes constantly.
Very cool.
Yeah, it really is. It's a good time.
Is there a website, some social media?
Yeah, you can go to weatherbees.com. We have that. We got, of course, on Instagram, Weatherbees Lodge, and on Facebook, it's Weatherbees Sporting Camps. The lodge itself, we have a full-time chef, full-time waiting staff, full-time housekeeping staff, 15 cabins, 3 houses on site for week-long rentals if you want to provide for yourself. We do 3 meals a day. In our pricing during peak season, you're looking at around $230. All your food, lodging, alcohol, and gratuities included in that price. And then during non-peak season, it's $200. Same thing, food, alcohol, tip, and all is included. Yep. Got 30 guides in the area that work for us. So big operation, but it's also one of the oldest lodges. East Coast for sure, maybe within the country, but it's over 100 years old.
Wow.
So.
I just had a question for you. Damn, I'm so tired right now.
It's exhausting.
You might be the last interview. I'm just tired of holding this mic.
It's exhausting. It really is. I mean, these shows are really good. We get to meet a lot of new people. It helps us with our business analytics, where we're getting most of the traffic from. Atlanta's going to be a huge show for us because we want to own the Southeast market. We want to own it. Flying to Maine, you're looking at about a 2-hour flight from Atlanta. Then you land in Bangor, 2-hour drive up from there. So it's not that bad. As if you were Atlanta and you're flying to Montana, now you're looking at around a 3.5, 4-hour flight, and then from there. So,
change time, didn't get all messed up.
Exactly. So it's a really simple place, and we offer probably some of the most diverse fishing on the East Coast that anyone's seen. Absolutely.
So my question was woodcocks.
Yes.
Will you ever see one of those if you don't have these two with you?
Yes, you'll flush them.
I've never seen one. I mean, I've spent some time in the woods.
So in Maine, we actually have a lot of resident birds that stay there, obviously, because it's a major flyway. Birds will just stay in that area in the wetlands, and we have a huge migration of woodcock that come through in mid to late September into October. Depends on the weather and stuff like that. Of course, the East Coast woodcock, the Atlantic flyway, they travel all down through Maryland, to Virginia, South Carolina. They land in Florida. So yeah, I mean, you'll walk through the woods, when we do scouting, and we'll flush them up out of nowhere.
Are they eating birds, or is it for sport?
Yes, we do eat them all. We breast them out, and then from there, you can cook them in a red wine reduction with some fruit. Or sometimes people bread them. We cook them nightly when we're at their lodge, like during hunting season for the clientele. The grouse hunting there's not a big population of grouse in the area of Grand Lake Stream. The habitat has kind of died out. We'd have a roughly 2 to 3 week remote grouse camp we do in the northern Allagash. We basically rent out rustic lodges and hunt in the northern Allagash for about 2 to 3 weeks or so. Yeah.
I'm guessing those birds don't stand a chance with you?
No, not at all. Absolutely not. I'm usually carrying 2 double-barrel shotguns. Yeah, on the hip, and I carry a 6-shooter with my cowboy boots.
You don't need a shotgun with your skills.
No, I do have some specialized training. Yeah, and I'm not sure if you have any avid NRA supporters or not on this podcast here.
Who knows? Everyone listens.
Right. Yeah, I've been known to shoot a grouse with a 22 flying. Yeah, I have.
Crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
All right, you running your own social media now?
I do, yeah. So I help out Jeff with Weatherbees. We do that, but then I also have my own blog I do, because when I'm not guiding and run the lodge in Maine, I am on the road throughout America. I am fishing for muskie, I am tarpon, red fishing in Texas and South Carolina. I'm duck hunting all over the place. I basically live out of my truck like a bum. And I run a blog. It's called duckdogsanddriftboats.com. And it kind of describes the stories that my hunting dogs and myself, what we do on the road for basically 4 months.
That sounds awesome.
It's really cool. It really is. And I'm hoping to be in Argentina next year during the wintertime, because I just met a guy and he's interested in having me do some Golden Dorado guiding for him. So
awesome.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, dude, good catching up. I was not expecting to see you.
Absolutely.
That was a surprise last night.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was good talking to you again. I knew that you would be around. I just didn't know what time we'd meet up.
Psst. Over here. Psst. Oh, there you are. I am just south of the Yellow Breeches, and the jabroni just pulled out in the right lane. Man, I hate drivers. Little left turn. All right, so I'm exhausted. That show, convention center type places need to have a different kind of floor. I had loads of fun. I'll probably do a post-mortem after this once I go through my pictures and look at the flies, count my money, see how I did. Good show. Some of the normal people weren't there. There were some tires that just don't go anymore. However, in their place, there are other tires, and there are different companies that show up and have booths, which I liked. Give you a little bit of a variety. There are some standard booths that are always there. So this morning, the alarm went off at 7:30 or 8:30. I don't remember, but I was tired. I got home to the hotel late last night, and then I made that mac and cheese, which was fantastic. Trader Joe's frozen mac and cheese is on point. And I ate that, feeling like Kevin McAllister, Christmas Eve, having himself some mac and cheese by himself before the Wet Bandits showed up. Second reference to the Wet Bandits in the podcast. Jumped up, I packed up everything, got myself ready, dressed, freshened up. I parked in front of the office last night because there's not a whole lot of parking at Sonesta. So I go in and I have a big plate of just greasy bacon and some eggs, push down a whole cup of apple juice just for some vitamins and minerals and hydration. I left my Yeti cup at the show, so I had to use a disposable cup, but I'll bring it home. You know, we're going to compost that. I've actually got every beer can and bottle and cup consumed by myself and others in my car. You know, I'm a responsible environmentalist in the industry and in life, and you shouldn't just be somebody that works in the outdoors that should do this. Everybody. So I've got cans and bottles. You know, Costa's got the whole Kick Plastic campaign. I don't know why people were drinking out of plastic water bottles all weekend. That's a big no-no. So after breakfast, I rolled over, and yesterday was just chaotic. So I finished walking around with everybody at 1 and sat down. I had to set up all of my tying gear and wait for the other dude to move out. And then all of a sudden, people are buying flies. Like, it was crazy. It was just chaos. So podcast listeners coming by, just new friends, other vendors, people buying flies, TPFR friends hanging out. It could not have been more fun. I actually wish it went longer. I would have had so much more fun. But they turned off the ugly lights, I don't know, 6 o'clock-ish. And then I just put a tarp over it, and when I got there this morning, it was just utter chaos. There were hooks and beads and material. So the guy who was tying at the table with me is using Steve Farrar SF Flash material, and it's everywhere. There's just strings of it. It's hanging from my beard, and it's in my water. It's stuck to my can of Coke. The stuff it's all over my clothes. So I have to set up, and I set up about 15 minutes before people arrived and started knocking out some flies to fill the bins. Of all the patterns I'd planned on making, hold on a second. Of all the patterns, I never tied up any damsels. I didn't tie up any intruders. I never had time for the intruders. I didn't have time for pretty much anything else that I brought. Just no circus peanuts. So it was pretty much reapers, gutless frogs, my snallygasters with cheese. I sold a lot of flies. It was awesome. Didn't sell as many as today, but in one sale yesterday, I made more than I did all of last year. And I'm not so much here hoping to sell the flies. I eventually want the people to buy them, fish them, realize that they're awesome, and then they're going to call me up to do some special orders. Hopefully also come down and get a guided trip. Like I said, if you're not coming to DC to fish the shad fishery, you really should make a weekend out of it. If you got a canoe or kayak, anything that you can fit through a small tunnel on your roof or in the back of your car, you can get down to Fletcher's and put that in. You can rent boats at Fletcher's, or you can fish from shore all up and down about a 3-mile stretch. So, what's going on? I beat. Gotta make you yawn. So as I'm talking, and I am the end aisle, this guy just walks by and he just goes, "That voice, I know you." He's like, "How do I know your voice?" Turns out he listened to the podcast, so that was fun. Gave out lots of cards, hopefully get some new listeners. It looks like we're going to be sending some Ayobayo to some houses. So Vion's probably going to get a bunch of new customers after this weekend because we are just snacking on the biltong. I like the drawers. I think that's my preference now. And we were just cutting them up with tine scissors and passing out like drawers chunks. They're really darn good. It's just this savory blend of the spices and whatever meat he's using. Oh, man, that stuff is spot on. Delicious. So I tied up until noon, and then I met some my friends from Healing Waters outside, and I was given some really old bamboo rods, and I got a pair of the dodgiest looking rubber felt soled waders you've seen. But if I can fit a client in those, a couple times and make an honest living, it's worth it. And at noon, so I was packed up. I grabbed a club soda to hydrate. Definitely had a stretch. My legs, it hurts. It's really exhausting. And hopefully we don't all get the Somerset SARS. And it turns out I went over right before I left to the Hardy Gray's booth, and they're all eating sandwiches. They offered me a steak and cheese, and it was good. Steak and cheese with cheese whiz on it, like the jarred cheese sauce. And we were discussing things, and they're like, "Yeah, go over to the Yeti booth. They got something like charcoal pills or what?" I'm like, they must have listened to the podcast. They have the charcoal pills with them. And then I joked and said, when you get your hand stamped to the show, they should give you like a little Dixie cup with a charcoal pill and a little paper cup of water, and you swirl it back and suck it down. So I walked around from noon until about 2:30ish. I went over to the Evening Hatch because they had the Orvis socks that I really like. Thomas found those yesterday. So I got 2 pairs, $12 each, pretty good deal. Except my shoulder bag is a piece of crap, and I was walking down one aisle, and this guy just whistles, and I turn around, and he throws the pair of socks at me, and I'm like, sweet, and I stuff them back in. They must have fallen out again, because there's only 1 pair of socks in my bag. I'm a little pissed about that. So if you found a pair of socks bundled up that said Woolrich on them, which I think are the same ones that Orvis sells, because they're identical in every way, if you found those, please kindly return those to me. so as to see that my feet are happy and warm. Walked around. I still wanted to get Alice Owsley on. It looks like that might just have to be a Skype podcast. Bumped into Jen Ripple, and I had wanted get her on the podcast for months, and you know that the Skype conversations were not working through the software. Rosenbauer got a podcast with her. I haven't listened to it yet, but if it doesn't cover what I wanted to talk to Jen Ripple about, then I think we're definitely going to have to call her up. Stopped by Healing Waters booth, saw Zeb and Andrea, which you heard, and we made a Kiki sandwich. Kiki is a guide, Northern Virginia. She lives in Northern Virginia, doesn't guide there. She does work with Healing Waters and TFO. So we got a picture of Jessica and I on one side, Kiki in the middle, and then Zeb and Andrea. So it's basically a Kiki sandwich. Just walked around. Honestly, the only thing I bought at this show was the socks. And I kept apologizing to Bo that I couldn't be at the show in April. That really bums me out. I just felt like I was a guy who stood up a girl on a date and was apologizing for that. Sat down for the talk with a couple of groups, so that was nice. Got invited to go do some bone fishing and tarpon fishing down off the beaches in Miami. Definitely want to take up that offer. Didn't go through the tying bins, so I saved myself from buying unnecessary tying material. I've got plenty, and now that I've really narrowed down, there's just a few flies that I really tie. I don't need that many materials. So I pretty much finished my sandwich, got in the car, loaded it up. That's when I'd realized that I didn't have the extra key. I'm sorry, the extra sock. So now I am York, Pennsylvania. It's been a crazy easy drive. This is much nicer than taking 95. There's no traffic whatsoever. I just got passed on the right. I'm only going 70. But it's been like I usually have maybe 3 or 4 miles alone in front and behind me anytime. I did pass a town. I think Jason can pronounce it correctly, but is it Charlottesville? Charlottesville? That's a pretty gross town name in Pennsylvania. Chart something. And there's so many things I wanted to talk about, but what else? What else did we learn at this show? It's fun. You walk up and down all the aisles, and you get lost. Yesterday, there were times where you honestly couldn't walk down an aisle. It was bumper to bumper. And today, there was a little bit more room. I feel bad. Lefty's getting old. I mean, the guy's 92, but it's starting to show. He had to sit down to do his casting demonstration, which kind of broke my heart. I've been watching him at shows for, I don't know, almost 20 years. And he was an old guy back then. And I'm just going to shut up and drive. I'm charging the phone now. Go listen to another podcast after I put you down. If I pass the Sheets, I'll probably pull over to get dinner, but as Justin would say, I was a greasy bastard enough today, and that I shouldn't eat another greasy sandwich. I could go for some salty fries right now. Like I said, I usually bring bags of chips and junk food with me. All I brought was the biltong, some club sodas for the car, and a Coke. Erin from Fly Vines was upset I didn't bring her a Mexican Coke. I totally forgot about that. How much we laughed about how good those were at the Lancaster show. Which is the next show. That is March 3rd and 4th, maybe? 4th and 5th. So plan on being at the Lancaster show. Maybe I'll have some of the intruders then. I'll definitely have shad flies there for people that are going to be fishing for shad, because that's the next big run that's coming into town. So we'll be doing some high fives then. And then maybe, I don't think I'm going to make it to Tie Fest on March 18th. It's a bit far. It's the same day as the Healing Waters Tie-a-thon at the Marine Corps Museum. And I think client Joe Wallen's going to be there, so we can sit there and tie together because he wants to learn the Cree bug, and I didn't get a chance to film it over the weekend. Cree bug will be the next bug we learn at Beer Tie for February. And then March and April will be shad flies. It's going to be awesome. And you wouldn't believe I invite so many people down. Like, Pete Kutzer, you got to come down and fish for shad. It will blow your mind. And I'm just telling all these people, everybody, from Umpqua to guys that live in Argentina. I'm like, dude, if you're in the DC area anytime in April and May, you need to come fish with me. And it's just like that picture behind you without the garbage. There's no garbage in your picture. And no crazy people with spears and pitchforks trying to stab fish. So that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this podcast. May or may not be the end of it, but it is for now. Jason, thanks for putting all these crazy pieces together. It was good hanging out, and sorry we couldn't watch any Comedy Central to catch up on The Funny Guy. But Percy Jackson was a cool movie, and that was some good Indian food we ate. I still can't believe you ate a whole bag of jerky at once. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's snowing. We're down in Merland. We are approaching Rockville. Some of the things I thought about since the last conversation. Thinking about Trad and walking around and how he seems to be the only next generation tire at the show. There's no one in their 20s, maybe a couple people in their 30s, but where's the next generation? When some of these guys decide they don't want to make the trek, they're getting old, who's going to fill in for them at the show? So if you're a young tire and you want to get into this, maybe think about buying a booth next year and tying some flies or doing the booth that we do. Rex Fly was across from us. I'm still not sure. I was watching, but I'm still not sure. I didn't get a chance to talk to them, but they were walking around with their rods coming off their chest. It kind of looked like they had a giant chest erection. They were just walking around, and they were going to be like, "Honey, have you seen the washcloth?" kind of joke. If you don't know what that is, you're not a funny, dirty-minded person. What else? Oh, man, see, I'd write this stuff down to talk about it, but I'm driving. So those are two more last-minute thoughts, and I'm just tired. I want to go home and eat a bowl of soup and just shower off the Somerset funk and go to bed. All right, so if you know music, this is Shannon Worrell. The album is 3 Wishes. If it's on iTunes, you want to buy it. The guy singing in the background is credited as David Matthews. This is before he was known as Dave in the music industry. One of the best albums I have. It's Shannon Worrell, Worrell, and the people in this album, it's like all stars of Virginia music. It's produced by John Alagia, or John Alagia's in it. David Lowry from Cracker, Carter Beauford from the Dave Matthews Band, maybe Sean Michael Dargan from Virginia. Like I said, Dave is singing. She just got all these amazing mid-90s people together, and it's an awesome album. That's why I'm listening to it for my last hour's drive back home. The snow stopped, so the road is a little more boring, and I still think that if you live in North Jersey and own a food truck, you really want to set up shop outside there. You would make an absolute killing. I've got another anecdote for you. This is one of the more funny, odd things that happened today. So Sabrina, who you heard last night on the podcast from room 412. She thought, she came by the booth today, and I got her a bunch of bass flies to try up in the Great White North. She asked when I'm going to publish the article, and I said, publish? She's like, yeah, you're going to write down what I said, quote me, and I was like, oh, no, it's a podcast. And still, there are people that just don't know what a podcast is, I say. It's like an internet radio show, and it was funny, and I gave her a bunch of flies, and then she came, I'm on the end, right? So she comes around, and she's going to shake I think she's going to shake my hand, but she takes her jacket, it's like resting on her arm, and kind of moves it, and I get confused. I think she's coming in for a hug. I think maybe it's a Europe French-Canadian thing. And it's a good thing I didn't try to kiss her on each cheek. I probably would have been slapped and gotten a broken nose. But I give her, I think she wanted to shake my hand. Ooh, it's snowing again. I wanted her, shake my hand or do a fist bump. I didn't know. I honestly thought she was coming in for a hug. So I hugged her, and she walks away, and I look at Peter Koga. Peter's great. He's tying the coolest shrimp. I'll post a picture of his spawning bonefish shrimps. But there's like a kid talking to Peter, and I was like, did you just see that? They're like, yeah, that was really awkward. I was like, did it look like I was trying to hug her, or did it look like she was coming in for a hug? Because it was so weird, and all three of us just started laughing at how awkward it was. I felt very silly. I was like, she probably thinks this dude's some fly tying creepo. Then I saw her like 2 minutes later, because the kid in the USA sweatshirt, I owe you $12. I didn't have time to give you your change. You walked away. So I was looking for him, and I bumped into Sabrina. I was like, I'm really sorry about that hug. I wasn't sure if you were coming in for a dap or a handshake, but you kind of moved your arm when you were moving your jacket, and I was like, I'm really sorry. It was so awkward, and I think she realized at the moment that I was just lacking in some social skills when it happened. That's another one of the stories I'm just thinking about as I'm driving. By the way, the traffic is pretty heavy right now on 270. I've only got 29 miles to go, and it's getting crowded. The roads are all pre-treated, so it's weird the way the lights are reflecting off the road. I don't know if it's the dried hypertonic solution they're putting down. The salt crystals are reflecting or absorbing light. I have VIP pet care in front of me that's hitting his brakes every couple of seconds. It's upsetting me. Anything else I should say before I have to put this down and pick it back up? I'll think about it. Do. What else? Boop, 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 bop, bop, bop. Doing those brakes, man. So let's talk about fly fishing people in industry. This is what a fly fishing dude looks like. Flip-flops, boots. Pretty dirty boots. They're going to have some kind of cool Carhartt, Dickies, work pants on, and then you're going to have a plaid button-down shirt. We all have some kind of technical watch, and then on our other wrist, it's fly vines and other beaded jewelry, leather, etc. Sunglasses around the neck, hat from place you've been or hat where you work. And it's funny, I don't, if I went to a ski convention, is everybody there all dressed as, are they all gonna be wearing Uggs and yoga pants? If I went to a golfing Somerset show, would everybody be wearing khakis and a sweater vest and a silky polo with a sun visor? I just want to know out there. I mean, I don't really hang out with other groups, but is there a stereotypical look? If the swimmers convention, do they all have nose clips and Speedos and water caps on? I'm just curious, because ICAST, you always know who the fly fishing people are. I've said that before. You go to the conventional side, and it's dudes with logos all over their clothes and starched jeans and very clean haircuts, where today it looks like most people haven't even seen a razor in a long time. It's just one of those things I think about as I walk around, that the staff at the hotel, when they look at us, are we like some riffraff group? Because there was a security guard out in the lobby technically this morning. He's just like, look at all these jokers. They all look the same. Like we were all like baby aphids that are asexually reproduced. They all look the same. They're boop, 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 out of the mama aphid. We all just kind of look like we're cookie cutters alike. Whether you are a guide or a lodge owner or a hardcore fisherman or someone who's just kind of getting into it, there's like a definite look that we all kind of have. I kind of laugh at myself because that's what I look like. I look like all the other jokesters. It's better than wearing a three-piece suit. No, take that back. If I had the same tailor as Daniel Craig in the last 3 James Bond movies, I would wear a three-piece suit every day. I wonder if Tom Hardy's gonna be the new James Bond. That dude's got some nice cut suits too. But I guess when you make that money, you get dressed like that too. I don't know.
At least one time, 'cause honey, win or lose.
Thank you for joining us for the Fly Fishing Consultant Podcast. For more information or to contact Rob, please go to www.robsnowhite.com.
And if you lack the strength of your own, honey, hold out your hands and take it from an old man.
This has been a production of FreeStone Media at freestone-media.com.